Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Savings Minus Debt. Like I always do, I'm going to give about 3 minutes for everybody to get up in here, get everybody a chance to not miss it from the beginning. I'm back. Not on camera yet because I'm growing my hair out and then I'm going to go to a barbershop and get it trimmed up just to see how I look because my girlfriend been bugging me to grow my hair out, and people think I'm naturally bald and all this other stuff. But no, I cut my hair because I'm extremely gray, and I've been getting gray since I started getting gray when I was like 19 or 20 years old, right? So now I'm going to go to a barbershop and just get it trimmed up and see what my new look, the 50-year-old man, new person, helping people, stuff like that, So get up in here before you get started. We got about a little under 2 minutes, and then we're going to get going. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Give you guys a few minutes. Let me go to my channel while I'm waiting. Get up in here. It says upcoming. How come it's not? I know I'm live. What's going on here? But I don't see anybody. That is going, something weird's going on here. Let's see. Okay, here they go. All right, here you guys come pouring in here. All right. What's up, Cosmic? What's up, Reese? Gabriel, welcome. I don't know. YouTube's been acting funny, but I'm going to just leave it the way it is. All right, we're just going to get up in here as long as you guys can see it. We're going to get started in less than a minute here. Welcome. Man, I'm glad you guys are able to join today. Appreciate it. I see 6 on the. I watch. You guys probably hear me a little bit because things are delayed when you're watching through the software. So by the time it reaches you guys, I probably set it, maybe a few seconds behind. So there's a little bit of delay on my end, not to you guys though. So that's why sometimes if you post something in the chat, it might take me a minute to respond to it because I don't see it till a few seconds later. Or I'm not sure how many seconds it is, but all right, we're going to get started. First, I would like to thank Cosmic Wisdom and Hyphy for holding it down. I'd like to thank all of the SMD family for their condolences. I appreciate it through the passing of my grandfather. I very much appreciate it. This has really, just knowing what you guys are doing in the Discord server, holding it down. It's like you could feel that it's a real family. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's above anybody, just because I'm the what I've known to be the founder, when I hear stuff like that, when I hear Cosmic and Hyphy saying things like that, hey, here's LJ, the founder. When you're called that, you might hear it, right? You might hear it on the news or something, or at work. Hey, this is the founder of this company, right? But when somebody calls you a founder, it's a really weird feeling. I don't know how to explain it, but I love it. I love what has been created. Yes, I started it, man, but I can't grow this by myself, and it's just it's been an amazing journey. I remember I was talking to myself on my own lives for 6 months to a year. Nobody was joining my lives. Nobody had no idea who I was, right? But something inside me told me just to keep going. Just keep going. Now I know nobody's listening to you, but keep going because it's the truth, right? And And I knew, and the reason why I knew I was right, because I knew my math was right. I just couldn't understand why many people out there didn't believe it. It's just a crazy, that's the fire that it gave me. I could tell somebody and prove it to them with mathematics, and they didn't believe me. So that's the fire up under me, right? And that's what keeps me going, knowing that I'm always mathematically right, and whoever opposes has to agree, or else they will be exposed by the people around them, because everybody has calculators, right? Everybody has calculators. Now, if they follow me and do the numbers, and the person that disagrees with me says I'm wrong, but the math is right, my math is right, and everybody in the audience, their calculator matches my calculator, the person that talks like that is going to be exposed. It's just a crazy, it's just crazy, right? So I appreciate it. I appreciate you all. What's up, Nicer? What's up, AJ? Get up in here. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is LJ Young, and I am a 100% debt-free motivational speaker and personal finance educator. I help people become financially free by helping them financially see outside what I call the debt matrix. The debt matrix is a place where everybody lives that believes in credit and debt and believes in financing it. Financing things that go down in value, but they simply cannot figure out why they're living paycheck to paycheck. They just can't figure out. That's where I come in. I expose the glitches in the debt matrix, and the glitches in the debt matrix are things that don't make mathematical sense but yet you keep doing it. Like, for example, you can't buy a phone with cash because you have no money, so you finance the phone, knowing that by the time the end of your contract, you will not get anywhere close to the value of that phone you financed. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I expose that. I say, hey, and let me show you this on paper, and it won't make mathematical sense, but yet you could show somebody that and they'll still finance phones. That's what I'm talking about. Those are glitches in the debt matrix, things that don't make mathematical sense, yet people continue to do them. So how I do this is that knowing I share my stories with you when I lived in the debt matrix for the first 40 years of my life. That's where I lived for the first 40 years of my life before I financially woke up. Now, I'm college educated, got a 4-year computer degree, tier 3 engineer, all that, 6-figure maker, all that. That means, let me tell you something. When you get out of debt matrix, I'm going to tell you guys something. That means absolutely nothing. Don't be impressed by anybody's degree. Don't think because they have a doctorate in something, they're smart with finances. Don't put those two together. Ever. Don't put together their house. If they have a nice house, don't put that together, meaning that they know about money. Don't ever do that. They roll up in a nice car, you see that, and you equate that to having money. Don't ever do that. That one has absolutely nothing to do with the other. And that's where I live. So when I was growing up, I had all that. And if I had a college degree, nice place, 6-figure income, I so-called made it. Okay. Now, I decided to do this one to show you that I was a slave to debt and didn't even know it. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna say this video is gonna be in a way to kind of give you I wish somebody would have came to me and said these particular things to me that would have woke me up. Like, imagine the me today going back to the old me when I lived in the debt matrix. Okay, this is what I want you to picture. This is the new me going back to the old me, wishing the old me can hear the questions of the new me. Okay? Now I wrote these down, so I want you to replace, and if this sounds like you, I want you to replace yourself with the old me. Okay, so you imagine if I'm asking you these questions. So Right now, if you add up all your savings, before I get into this, add up all your savings, add up all your debt. And yes, including your mortgage, yes, including student loans, yes, including collections, yes, including the bills that you don't feel like they're yours and you don't care, they're old, all of that. And then I want you to go savings minus debt equals your net worth. Savings minus debt equals your money in real life. Now, if that's in the negative, that's how much you're worth. Okay? That's what math says. All right? Now I want you to carry that number in your head throughout this whole story, okay? Carry that number. Now I'm gonna remind you, I'm pretending that the new me, the new Linnell, is going back and asking these questions of the old Linnell so he would wake up sooner. If someone would have said these, I'm reading my paper, okay? If someone would have said these things to me, I would have known I was a slave. I would have known I was a debt slave if somebody would have said this to me. Linnell, do you know down to the penny how much debt you're in? No? That's because you're a slave. Only slaves don't know how much debt they're in. That's the price of their slave papers, Linnell. You're a slave. Add up all your savings, add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equals the cost of your slave papers, Linnell. And you don't even know what that is? You will be a slave until you're dead. I wish somebody would have said that to me like that. I would have been like, wait a minute, that math is right. I couldn't deny the math. Linnell, does going to college for 4 years and keeping your student loans for 10 years make any sense to you? Go to college for 4 years, but pay on them for 10 years. Does that make sense to you, Linnell? Then why are you doing it? Oh, that's right, because you're a slave. That's why. That's why you're doing it, Linnell. Linnell, why are you worried about having good credit when you have no money? Oh, yep, that's right. You're a slave. That's why you believe that. You believe, even though you're so worried about your credit, Linnell, and you have not a dime in the bank, only slaves do that, Linnell. Slaves to debt. Linnell, I bet you don't even know money doesn't even exist for people in debt. It doesn't even exist for slaves. You're a slave. Money doesn't even exist. And I can imagine how I would look at a person if somebody told me that. What do you mean money doesn't exist? And that the new me says, I can prove it to you, Linnell. Okay. So say like your student loan debt, Linnell, is $50,000, okay, that you've been carrying for 10 years. All right. Now, what if you had $1,000 in the bank, Linnell? 1,000 minus 50,000 is negative $49,000, Linnell. You're in the negative. Money doesn't exist for you. So that $1,000 you have in your hand doesn't even exist. Which one are you going to believe, Linnell? Mathematics or your lying eyes? Say like Linnell, say like you had $1,000 worth of gold. Okay. $1,000 worth of gold minus $50,000 in student loan debt is still negative 49,000. You're still in debt. That gold that you're holding doesn't even exist. Now, even though cryptocurrency wasn't back there, I'm gonna use it anyway. Linnell, say like you had $1,000 worth of cryptocurrency. $1,000 worth of cryptocurrency minus $50,000 in student loan debt is still negative $49,000. It doesn't care the matter of currency, the form of it. You are in debt. You're a slave. Okay, Linnell, you still don't get it? Here, hold this $20 in your hand. Okay? Hold this $20 in your hand. Now I'm gonna make it disappear from your hand right in front of your face, Linnell. 20,000 minus 50,000 is what? I'm not going to add that up, but still negative 40 something $1,000. Even that $20 is not in your hand. Which one are you going to believe? Mathematics or your lying eyes? Linnell, you know why you're financing a car, right? Because you have no money. No one gets a finance car on sale, Linnell. You're financing it for 84 months. Look to the back of the paperwork. That's your sale price. Look to the back of the 84-month paperwork. That is your sale price, not the sale price you see on the window, Linnell. That's only for cash buyers. Oh yeah, that's right. You're a slave. You don't know that. Linnell, only slaves believe they're homeowners while carrying 30-year mortgages. You're a loan owner, Linnell. You're a loan owner for 30 years, not a homeowner. Stop calling yourself that out loud. The sale price of anything only applies to those who have cash. Out of all the years you work, Linnell, 1 month with no work will break you? Wait a minute, Linnell. You've been working for 20 years of your life. If a job laid you off for 30 days, it will break you. You know why? That's because you're a slave. You can't even see that, huh? Add up the math, Linnell. It will never lie to you. Linnell, you believe taxes are bad, huh? What if I told you only slaves believe that? Taxes can actually help you build wealth, Linnell. You know why you can't see that? You're in debt. People in debt will never be able to see it, ever. It's mathematically impossible for them. And since math is an exact science, that is never. Linnell, you have an obvious pattern and you don't even know it. All slaves do. This is why you can't see it. You're in debt. People in debt have a pattern. And you know what that pattern? And I'm going to expose this pattern so you guys can really listen. I'm going back to you guys and I'm exposing this and to the old me. You know the pattern that people in debt have? They don't believe in mathematics. That is it. The difference between the haves and the have-nots, Linnell, the haves believe in mathematics, the have-nots don't. I wish somebody would have said it to me like that back then. You know the difference between the rich and the poor, Linnell? What is that? The rich believe in mathematics, the poor don't. That's it. You want to be rich, Linnell? Yeah, just believe in math and you'll be rich. That's it. Damn, I wish somebody would have said it to me like that. Oh my God. Anyway, let me get back on this paper. Sorry, I drifted off, getting angry at myself. Linnell, only slaves believe IRS audits are random. Only slaves believe that. No, you have the pattern that you can't see. You don't believe in mathematics. If you simply follow the rules, the IRS will never bother you. The rules are clearly stated. These are the rules. Slaves always break them. Always, Linnell, always. They get plenty of practice from people breaking the rules. Most of the people don't even know they're breaking the rules because they're in debt. They don't believe in mathematics. All you got to do, Linnell, is take the time to understand the rules. No different than a sport. Linnell, what if you walked on the football field and you start face masking everybody? You're not going to be in the game long, are you? No. That's the same with the IRS rules and taxes and laws. It's the same thing. It's crazy. People take the time to know sports and sports players, but have not a clue why they have student loans older than their children. Doesn't even make any sense. None. Will tell you the details of sports and players and their salaries and all this stuff. But if you ask that person the same question, why are your student loans older than your children? They will not have an answer for you and not a clue. Don't you ever be like that, Linnell, ever, especially out in financial public. Linnell, how are you going on vacations while your finances are in the negative? That's mathematically impossible. Only slaves go on vacation while they're in debt. They're not getting a vacation from anything. They're digging themselves even deeper in slavery. Why do you think slaves, Linnell, why do you think people want to go on vacation so bad? Because they hate their lives. They're excited about leaving and dreading coming back. They repeat themselves over. Do you want to be like that? Keep going on vacation while you're in debt. Only slaves do that. Linnell, no mortgage in the world makes you a homeowner, so stop calling yourself that. Why do you believe you're one, knowing that you borrowed the money from the bank? Why do you believe you're a homeowner? Stop saying things like that, especially out in public. You're financially embarrassing yourself and you don't even know it. Calling yourself a homeowner, knowing you got a 30-year mortgage. Don't ever say that. Linnell, did you pay cash for that new phone? Then how do you have it in your hand? If you didn't have the money for the phone, I want you to tell me right now, how do you have it in your hand? I'll tell you, don't even shut your mouth. Because you're a slave. Only slaves finance freaking cell phones, Linnell. Linnell, when you finance a cell phone, you know what kind of financial statement that makes to the freaking world? Or no, not the world, the people that understand how it really works, you have no idea. If you come up to somebody that knows about money with a finance car, with a finance cell phone in your hand, you have no idea what you're saying to that person, and you never will because you're a slave and because you're in debt. Linnell, when you finance a car for 84 months, you know what you're slave to now? Now you're financially tied for at least 84 months to your job, to the bank, and the depreciating car. 7 years. You know why they call it? You know why they say months, Linnell? Because it doesn't sound like 7 years. 7 years of financial prison for that thing out there, for that depreciating object. As it just sits there, it depreciates, and you financed it. Now you're not even able to quit your job. You know that job you hate, Linnell? Now you can't even quit. You're guaranteed at least 7 years there because you got to pay on that depreciating object. Linnell, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing tying yourself for 7 years to a freaking car? Your boss treats you like shit. Now you can't even leave. Now you got to be a team player at work. Work team player. You know what team player, Linnell? You know what that means? That means work for free, you slave. Only slaves work for free. I don't care what kind of name they put on it. I don't care if they say team player. Does it involve free time at work? Yeah. Then you don't be one. You let them know you don't work for free. I'm not a slave. But when you finance a car, Linnell, that's what you got to do. At least that's what you believe. Linnell, retirement is not an age. So stop listening to them say that. Retirement is whenever you choose it. It doesn't matter what that piece of paper says that the retirement age is this and that. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. You're a slave. You don't own the time in your life. That's why you got to do it, because you're a slave. Somebody else owns your time. You're a slave to debt. That's why you can't see it. Linnell, Google the answers how to become a millionaire. They're right in front of you. Millions of people believe they're homeowners while having 30-year mortgages. If you own your home, you'll be financially ahead of all of them. All of the millions of people that simply believe they're homeowners, and you truly be one, you will be financially ahead of them all. There is no better investment that you can see right now by simply owning a home. Don't worry about the stock market. Don't worry about gold, silver, cryptocurrency. Own a house. Don't believe it? Look it up. See how much. See that you see there's trillions of dollars in mortgage loan debt. Yeah, that's millions of people. Yeah, own your house, and you'll be ahead of them all, just like that. The the snap of a finger. Yeah, Linnell, don't let them believe that your house is an asset. No, it's not. It's not an asset until you pay it off. Then and only then will it become an asset to you. Linnell, you probably want to know, how do you stop being a slave? All you got to do, Linnell, is believe in mathematics. That's it. Believe in mathematics and you'll never be a slave again, ever. Linnell, before you sign those mortgage papers, are you really willing to take a 30-year risk? 30 years? How old are you right now? 35. So you're saying you're going to pay this house off when you're 65 years old? Are you insane? First of all, Linnell, nobody can see 30 years into the future. Why are you promising this to the bank? That makes absolutely no sense. Do you know you're going to be making that much money for 30 years? No. Then why are you signing on a dotted line promising it to them? That's something that doesn't even exist. You're in debt. You're going to be working at this job for the next 30 years? No? Then what the hell are you doing? Oh, your friends are doing it. Oh, that's why you're doing it? Oh, because TV told you. Linnell, as you sit across from the banker getting ready to sign that stack of papers, you know that feeling in your stomach, that knot? Oh, don't worry about it. You're not the only one that gets it. All people in debt get that same knot in their stomach while they're signing these papers. I promise you, it's not just you. And I'm going to explain what that knot is. You see that stack of papers, Linnell? Yeah. You do? Yeah. Do you know what all of that means inside of the papers? Do you know what all that stuff says? You know the meaning of everything that you're going to sign, initial here, sign, initial here, sign, initial. Do you know the meaning of all that? No? Then what the hell are you doing? Linnell, would you buy a business without a lawyer? No? Then why are you buying a 300,000? Would you buy a $300,000 business without a lawyer? No. Then why would you buy a $300,000 house without a lawyer? It's the same thing. It's business. Get your feelings out of it. Yeah, I know. You're seeing all your friends doing it, right? Just and so you feel compelled to do the same thing. You know what? They're in debt. When you see that, the majority of them are in debt. They want you to be just like them. Don't do it. You probably got caught up you probably got caught up in that rent versus buying, huh? Probably you got some friends telling you that you've been throwing your money away on rent. Huh? They've probably been telling you got to caught all up in the, oh my God, you're missing out on equity and you're throwing your money. Yeah, right, right. Don't listen to those people. Those people, the majority of those people that are telling you that, they have student loans that are older than their children and they're giving you financial advice. You better not listen to them. The only thing you need to be concerned with, add up your savings, Linnell, add up your debt. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have for a house. If that number's in the negative, you cannot buy a house with negative dollars. That's mathematically impossible, Linnell. Impossible. No mortgage in the world that makes anybody a homeowner, Linnell. So don't believe it. You probably still. I know it's hard to grip this, Linnell, because you believe money exists for people in debt. Money doesn't exist for people in debt, and they don't even know it. You don't even know it. You don't even know money doesn't even exist for you, Linnell. Yeah, you go into work and you cash your check and you see the money in your pocket. You probably think it's real. It's not. Only slaves believe that. Let me ask you a question, Linnell. If math didn't exist, we wouldn't have the ability to count money, right? That's true, right? If we didn't learn math in grade school, we would have no way of counting money, right? We would just look at it, right? So that would make math and money as one, like a bond that cannot be broken ever. It can never be broken because we wouldn't have the ability to count money. Whoa. Oh God, that threw me off. Anyway, we wouldn't have the ability to count money if math didn't exist. Correct? Right? So math and money are one. Let me turn this off because I can't have that pop up. Hold on for a second, you guys. So, Linnell, knowing that math and money are one, that means they're inseparable, right? Nothing can break it, correct? Right, right, right. So if math and money are one, wait, no, math and money are one. Math is an exact science, right, Linnell? It's an exact science, correct? Yes. So savings minus debt equals your money in real life. So what are you going to do about that? What are you going to do about that, Linnell? Knowing that you're in debt. I wish somebody would have told it to me like that. I would have had to believe them. I would have had to believe them. Now let me tell you guys what the the first barrier I had to get through, okay, to become debt free. All right, to stop being a slave to debt. You know what I had to do? And I don't cuss. All right, I don't cuss at all, but I'm going to use a curse word and it's more of the purpose of feeling it because this is what it means. Okay, this is what it means. In order for me to stop being a slave to debt, I had to admit to myself at 40 years old that I fucked up with finances. I fucked up. Now I want you to take that curse word. Like if Samuel L. Jackson wouldn't say curse words in a movie, it wouldn't just feel right. That part in the movie wouldn't feel right. Like if you think about Pulp Fiction, if he didn't curse in certain parts, you wouldn't really feel what he was saying if he when he was getting ready to kill somebody in a movie or something, right? That's what I mean. I want you to feel that. I had to admit to myself that I fucked up at 40 years old, listening to the wrong people. Now, mind you, when I was in debt, I didn't know I was in debt. I really thought that was part of life. So I totally don't understand money. So I'm listening to others don't understand money either. And I don't know that I'm listening to people that didn't understand money because I didn't understand money myself. You believe people with degrees in accounting and taxes and real estate agents, and you start to believe people's titles. They must understand money because they have that title. That means nothing. Everything I'm saying to you, I can prove. There shouldn't be one accountant out there with student loan debt. But we all know that that's not true. There should be not one tax person, not one tax preparer in IRS trouble. That should be impossible. But that's not true. There's people that do that. Why is that? They're professionals in this areas, but they're messing up with money. Why is that? Because it has nothing to do with that. Nothing. That has nothing. Don't when you're fool when you don't know about money, you don't know about money. I'm telling you, if you've been in debt and you've accepted that debt is just part of your life, you're fucking up. You're going to be a slave to debt until you're dead. And trust me, I'm not using it. You guys know I don't curse. I'm not using it just a curse word to simply say a curse word. I'm saying the curse word so you can feel what it is. You got to get up and look in the mirror and say it to yourself. If you don't know how much debt you're in right now, you need to get up to the mirror and say it to yourself. Hey, man, I'm effing up. I'm fucking up. Math is an exact, listen to what I'm saying, you guys. Math is an exact science. That means it's never wrong. Now, if you add up your savings and add up your debt and your finances are in the negative, I want you to look at that negative number and understand that that number is not wrong. Now, if you look at that number and believe it, then you got to get up and go to the mirror and say, okay, I fucked up. What do I do about it? That's when you come see me. I'll tell you exactly how to do it and never be in this position again. You notice how the majority of people are terrified. I know when you look on social media, it doesn't look like that. That's not true. They're feeling just like you. That's a facade. Slaves are terrified during this time right now. If you're only slaves to debt, because people that are not in debt, we're not terrified of anything. Nothing's happening to us. I'm not talking about the virus. I'm talking about financially. There's a few inconveniences, but yeah, nothing more than that. Doesn't matter what the government does, whatever they decide. Yeah, I'll hear it later. We'll hear it later. It's not really a big deal. Maybe more on the business side, it's a big deal, but personally, no, not really. I don't want you guys, if you listen to this, man, and you feel, because when you're in debt, You're literally a slave to that debt. You're literally a slave to that debt. Now, you'll start to feel that it's just you going through these terrifying times. It's not secure, not if you're going to get your job. You might have had your job all your life, last 10, 15, 20 years. They laid you off, blah, blah, blah. And that was your only skill. And you don't know anything else. That's what goes through. Everybody's feeling that. Don't think it's just you. If you feel that it's just you, stop right there and realize it's not just you. I know when you go on social media, it doesn't look that way, but it is. They're just not showing you, just like you don't show them. When you go on your Facebook, do you show them what's really going on in your household? No, that's the same thing they do to you. So don't believe when you go on social media what you see, because it's not, it's an illusion. Only slaves, only slaves to debt are terrified. I promise you. I promise you. Only slaves to debt are terrified. Stay off social media. You know, you get upset about your situation and pop open the phone so you can kind of escape your life, and then you know what's happening. You're seeing other people not showing what's not, there. Other people not showing what's really going on behind the scenes, and you think you'll start to think that they're doing better than you. That's an illusion. Only slaves to debt believe that stuff. I don't believe any of it. All I got to do is just millions of people out of work. None of that's most of the majority of that's millions of people are out of jobs. The majority of what you see on social media is an illusion. Believe that. You know what it feels like to bring people on the other side of zero, the north side of zero, and show them what it's like on the other side when you get out of debt. Once you didn't, once you were in your life and you thought, hey, debt is just part of life. And then when you get on the other side of zero and you see that it's not true, you're going to be mad at yourself for a long time. When I think back, like right now, sometimes I'll get in moments and I'll get mad at myself realizing I allowed myself to be a slave for 40 fucking years. That makes me so angry. Not today, but just to think about it, man. 40 years, 40 years I've been fucking up. I knew something around 41, man. I knew something was wrong. Something just didn't make no freaking sense. And then 42, it got worse. 43, the closer I got to 45, I was like, something's wrong. And I didn't have a person around me to answer the questions I needed them answered. Like I needed them answered a certain way, but I didn't know I needed them answered a certain way. I just couldn't put my finger on it. I'm asking my friends, they're all in debt, so they was never giving me the right answer. They was just like, I'm just like, damn, they're in the same situation I am. That it's not the answer. Now that I'm out of debt, the answer was in my face the whole fucking time. Math. I'd be like, damn, they showed me this shit in grade school. That's what makes me angry. They showed me that in grade school. I loved math and money games in grade school. Absolutely loved it. And I remember being disappointed because when I got out of grade school, we stopped doing it. And I was like, why did that stop? I was upset about it. Then I just moved on with life, just like everybody else. And they taught me about money in grade school. I'd be like, damn, Linnell, you really kept your student loan for 10 years? That was so stupid. That was so stupid. Ooh, that was so stupid. Oh, that was so stupid. That one's like the most obvious. Keep my student loan for 10 years and went to college for 4. Oh my God, my student. Oh my God. Mm. You guys have no idea what it's like to know that I could have been a multi-millionaire years ago. Years ago. But what turns me around now is my purpose. Now I don't control what the universe does and says at what time. So I've accepted that now is my time. Okay, now is my time to create this. I didn't know why I was creating it. It just happened. I was just it's not something you can feel, see, taste, touch. You can't see it. You got to just, and what it really is, belief in yourself. I had to believe in me. So I had to remove, in order to become free from being a slave of debt. I had to the craziest thing is this. I had to start believing in me. I had to remove what I thought was me. My job, I had to remove my job and my job title. I had to remove that from my life. So I would stop thinking being a system engineer was me, because it's not. It wasn't me. How was I going to be able to remove? I didn't know I had to remove that from. I'm just telling you guys this. I'm just telling you guys after this fact. I didn't know I had to remove that from me, but getting out of debt allowed me to remove that title because I could quit that job because I had no debt. These steps I show clients and show people. These are the steps it must go. This is how it will be. This is how it works. Now the job part. When you get to the job part, you'll know what you're going to do. And I'll just tell you guys this right now. If you hate your job, you get out of debt, you're going to quit your job. Once I help you get out of debt, you are going to quit your job. You know why? Because people that are financially free don't work at places they hate, places they don't like. That doesn't happen. That doesn't exist. When you start giving up hours, that, you know how many, as a computer engineer, you guys that are in IT, I want you guys to listen up very, very close. Very close, especially if you're in debt. I want you to listen up very, very close. Number one, stop thinking your six-figure salary is a lot of money. It's not, especially when you're in debt. Only people that are in debt believe six-figure salaries are a lot of money. Compared to who? When you hear somebody call a six-figure salary a lot of money, I need you stop and ask yourself, compared to who? Your neighbor or Elon Musk? Your sister or Jeff Bezos? Who are you talking about? Well, do Jeff Bezos thinks $100,000 a year is a lot of money? No? Then what are you talking about? When you get salary, you think salary is somehow better than hourly? No, it's not. They get to work you even more. When you're a salary worker, they can work you even more. So don't think hourly is better than salary. I mean, salary is better than hourly. It's not. That's made up. That's an illusion. Again, this is for the IT people. You know how there's usually an on-call rotation, right? There's an on-call rotation, but they still call you when you're not, even when you're not on call. What the purpose of an on-call rotation if they can still call you anytime they want? That means they own you 24 hours a day. Only slaves do that. I did that for years. I would never allow that. That would never happen. If I'm not on call, you don't call me at all. I didn't sign up for that salary for 24-hour access to my life. That's why you're paying for my phone, huh? Right? Yeah, don't pay for my phone. If you think you coming up because they're paying for your cell phone bill, you think they're doing that because they're being nice? No, so they can have 24-hour legal 24-hour access to your life. Now I remember one time I was at work one time and I asked this dude, "Hey man, you got the job paying for your phone?" He turned to me and said, "Hell no." When he said that to me, I was surprised. I was like, "What's wrong with that idiot? That's free money." No, it's not. Nothing's free. Now, when I think back at that moment, I know exactly why he said that. Hell no. You get an IT at tier 3, you're pretty important. You better make sure you keep track of all the time you work for free so you can keep adding it up and know why you're accepting it. You're in debt. Every email after hours, every phone call after hours, every call when the system's down and you're not on call, you track it all because all that time is for free. People who financially free don't do that. Only slaves to debt do that. This gift will be yours. This is so obvious. This is such a gift that I have. Look, and this is not bragging, okay? You guys, you know, this is the first time in my life that I have something in the palm of my hand that can change anybody's life. All I got to do is just listen and believe in mathematics. Do you guys know how frustrating that is? Sometimes that's frustrating. I have something in my hand that I can prove can change somebody's financial life forever. I can prove it. And they still don't believe it. That's what intrigues me the most, though, at the same time. It's frustrating and amazing at the same time. It's like if you go up to somebody and say, "Hey man, you know you're not a homeowner if you have a mortgage," they will literally argue with you and think and call you a liar right to your face. That kind of stuff blows me away. It just blows me away. After they're done, I just want to go, but is my math correct? After all that, they'll still have to, and they will still listen. They will still have to say yes and won't know why they have to say yes. They won't even know why they have to say yes, even though they don't want to say yes. That's what's amazing about this. They will have to say yes, knowing they don't want to say yes, but they have to, not realizing the very reason why they have to. All right, we're about an hour into it. I'm gonna answer some of these questions. Say what's up to everybody, and hopefully, you guys, whoever's still here, when answering the question, they're still in here. All right, what's up, LJ? What's up, our carp? What's up, the scout? Ken, what's going on? Thank you, sir, about my grandfather. I appreciate it, sir. What's up, Dave? Sincere, nicer. Gabriel, what's going on? Nicer says, I think people being short-sighted a big reason they can't see the math. Yeah, some people just don't want to face that. What's up, NC Biggs? What's up, NC Biggs? I always want to say Briggs because I had a close friend. Oh, excuse me. What's up, Mecca? Omega Dreads? What's going on? So Omega Dread says, how does everyone feel about serve the servants? That's pretty much it when you're in debt. Herbert Walker says, when I had to work for free last year, I knew it was time to move on. Yeah. When you know it, I mean, like, no, not just literally no. I mean, TSA workers a couple years back, they knew they were working for a month for free. They even told them to their face. They will tell a slave right to their face, you are going to work for free, slave. Because again, if I work for TSA and they told me you're going to work for free for a month, I'll say, no, I'm not. I quit. Anything more than that would be slavery. That slavery's been abolished for years. What's up, Nicole? Red Pill Neo. Did you say 7-year loan? Yep. Oh hell, that's 84 months financing. That's why they use months. So people in debt won't they won't connect the two. Most people in debt, they're just too lazy to even do any mathematics. Hey, what is 84 months? You know, when you could just Google that information. You don't even, anything I'm telling you, you don't even have to know math. You just need to know what numbers to put into Google, and Google will tell you the answer. What's up, Ultra Bright? Giving a shout out to Cosmic. She did do a wonderful job. Her and Hyphy. Dave Sincere says, the older I've gotten, the more I realize how my parents and people I grew up around misled and continue to misled and continue to mislead. Yeah, they just didn't know. It's not, and you know, Dave, it's not even really their fault. They just don't know. This is generations. What I'm teaching right now, you guys are maybe you're new to my channel. What I'm teaching right now is generations. I can help change your financial generational tree. Because once you know, and you're probably thinking, hey, LJ, how do you know you can do this? Because once I show you, you're going to naturally show those who will listen, because everybody's not going to hear you. Dave Sincere says, I've discovered people with money and knowledge operate completely different than people without. Totally different. People with money, we can operate in the open because people in debt don't believe it's that easy to do what we're doing, right? They just believe it's not that easy, or they'll simply believe you only can do that because you have money. You know, they'll make up something. They always have a reason why they can't do what another person is doing, believing that other person is somehow above them because they have money. It's not, they're just a person. They're not special. They're not nothing. They're just a person with more money than you. And that's a big maybe. Dave Sincere says, the wealthy often don't purchase a house to live in. They purchase real estate to sell or gain rental income and then rent where they want to live. You know what? Honestly, Dave, you know what I would do if I could go back? This is what I would do. If I was in my 20s, I would save up save up the money that I needed to put down on the absolute best mortgage offered in the US of A. That's the only mortgage I would accept if I was in my 20s. And I would go get the requirements for that particular mortgage. The bank would say, these are the requirements you're going to need to have if you want this type of mortgage. I would take them, and then I would not come back to the bank until I met all of the requirements, every single one of them, right? Then I would I wouldn't move in there. I would classify that house as a rental under the IRS guidelines, making sure of that. So what I would do, I would hire a lawyer and say, lawyer, I want to make sure that house is registered as a rental according to the IRS guidelines. I don't know anything about it. That's why I'm hiring you. You do that, right? Get it down to the T. I don't want no mess ups. Get it classified as a rental and put a renter in it. And I'll still have a job, right? I'll still have a job. So what I will do is, and I'm debt free, remain debt free. I have a job, debt free. I would have the rental, make sure it's under a business name, whatever. My lawyer would take care of all that. I need to put it under a business name, a legal LLC, and then make sure it's classified a rental, blah, blah, blah. I would have a job. And this is what I would do. I would max out my, you got, if you're in debt, you're not really going to understand what I'm saying by this. But anyway, I'm going to just make it really quick. I would max out my 401k, my HSA, right? And I'll have my rental. So Also, my rental property, I could write off that against my personal debt, my personal taxes too. You guys have no idea what that means. You know how low I will be in a tax bracket while at the same, because being lower than everybody else, making the same amount of money as the majority of people, six figures, but paying less in taxes is money in my pocket. All that money will be used to pay off that house. That house will be paid off in 5 to 7 years, period. I would do the next one, the same one, but guess what? It'll be easier because I have a paid off house and no debt. I walk into the bank with a paid off house, young, no debt, and a job that you better, hey, 1 or 2 more houses, then I'll be cash flowing the rest. All I had to do, and I could achieve that in my 20s. You know how? Just stay out of debt. Stay out of debt and have a job. That's it. And I wanted to say this before I forget it. For those of you that really want to go to college and have no choice but to get student loans, I'm not against saying get student loans. If you need student loans, get student loans. All right. If you need a college degree to achieve what you need to achieve professionally, get student loans. But this is my word. This is the way I describe it. If you go to college for 4 years, you give yourself exactly 4 years to pay it back and not a day more. You go to an 8-year college, give yourself 8 years to pay it back, not a day more. Anything else would affect you financially negative. Dave Sincere says they let rental income pay the lifestyle. Yeah, rental income pays that lifestyle. Believe that. Man, that's a tough pill to swallow, especially at that age. I know I've gone through. Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow. I know exactly what you're meaning by that. Cosmic says, yeah, that was right. Use of the curse word. We have all effed up, but hopefully learn lesson to correct ourselves going forward. The key word, you kept going forward. Yeah, just like your dad said. Failure is failure, but it's only failure if you give up. I like that. What's up, Jonathan? Hello. Dave Sincere says curse words emphasize the severity, seriousness of the matter, especially when you use it right. Hello, Jewel. Use it in the right sentence. Algorithm Nation, how do you get out though? You need to come see me. Schedule an appointment with me. SavingsMinusDebt.com/services. Free 30-minute consultation, and we'll talk about it and see if I can help you, or if you want my services or you want my service, because I only have one. I have a one service fits all right now. Okay. There's multiple levels in this game, but the one service helps many because it counts on what level you're at in the financial game. The only thing I do is help you get out of personal debt. Okay. I give you the path how to get out of personal debt. So the free 30-minute consultation kind of gives me a feel of where you're at, what I do, so you can see if it's a fit for you, because you might need to go another way. But remember, I will always give you a mathematical answer. Okay. Dave says, let me tell you, I got 2 calls from my older sister yesterday. First call, I couldn't answer because I was working. Second call, I did. First thing my sister said was, brother, I paid off all my CC. Okay, she paid off all her credit cards. Congratulations. That is cool. Joseph Brown says 82 folks at my job will be getting laid off next week. Yeah. People have no idea what the new normal is. It doesn't make any sense. I posted on my Facebook today. People are talking about, oh yeah, things are getting back to normal. Things are getting back to normal with less jobs, less pay, less jobs, less hours, less pay, and Corona. What normal are you talking about? That normal that you think once was, it's never coming back, ever. Paid off on my CC debt this morning. I want to let you know, you to be their I wanted you to be the first person I told. She said, you didn't believe me, but I want you to know I've listened to you and everything you've been everything you've been teaching me. God damn. That's got to be a good feeling, Dave. That's got to be a good feeling. And see her excitement to tell you, that's the feeling that you have to, in order for a person to feel that feeling, Dave, they have to pay off their debt. They have to pay it off. There's no other way to feel what your sister felt. He said, I couldn't be more proud of my sister. Yep, exactly. Thank you, Nicer. Hit that like button and subscribe. Dave Sincere says, LJ, putting down the sermon today, he cursed 3 times during this show. Yeah. I want you guys to feel it. I want you guys to feel what it means to be a slave in debt. Because that's how I felt when I got out. I couldn't believe I let myself be a slave that long. I did it to myself the whole time. Myself the whole time. Gabriel says, hey, LJ, have you seen commercials like CashNet USA? Yeah. Encouraging people to get payday loans. I've known this since I was a kid. And you know what's so funny, Gabriel, about that? Those commercials tell you exactly the people they work with financially. Okay. But people in debt don't know that, right? Here's a guy pretending he's Superman with a mask on, flying through his building, talking about CashNet. It's a joke. That commercial tells you his clientele, people that don't understand money. That's why they're accepting money from a guy in a Superman outfit. The commercials are horrible. They are the stupidest commercials I've ever seen in my life. Why would I ever borrow money from you? Only people in debt do that. CashNet USA. It's like, oh my God. It's no different than Drive Time, with the black lady in the green outfit. They got dogs and computers in there and money dropping. They're swimming in money on the floor. And it's just, it's the stupidest commercials, but the commercial is really telling you about their clientele. You ever see Porsche make commercials like that? You ever see Porsche make what about Mercedes-Benz? Do they got a guy dressed up in a Superman outfit flying around their store? No. Oops. Dave Sincere says, LJ, the reason why we aren't taught to cultivate that knowledge we learn from basic mathematics is better. We learn from basic mathematics is because Rockefeller said in the early 1900s, I don't need thinkers. I need workers when they craft it. Honestly, Dave, let me tell you something, man. I see what you're saying there, but this is what I'm thinking. This is what I know. The math that I learned in grade school was all that I needed to become a multimillionaire. That was it. I didn't even need to know any more math than that. I didn't even need to know. Didn't even need to know. Shout out to Herbert Walker for the $10 super chat donation. Thank you, sir. I was in debt for so long, I didn't realize I was a slave. Thank God I woke up. I didn't realize it either, Herbert. I didn't realize I was a slave. Didn't realize I was a slave. But the math, all I needed was the grade school math. That's it. You think people in debt know that? No, they don't know that. I didn't know that. The public school systems teaches you the basics. You need to know the basics to get out here and function in the world. You at least need to know how to read, basic mathematics, blah, blah, blah. But what people don't know is that that's all you really need to know to become a millionaire. Financially, you want to become a multimillionaire financially, you still need to know the other stuff too. But money is the main subject that you need to know. And you just need to know the math that we learned in grade school. That's it. Nothing more than that. Nicer says math was a tough subject for me. I even joined the math club in junior high. I accepted I don't have to be good at math. I can just use a calculator. Exactly. And that's so funny, Nicer. You don't even need to know math. I don't need to know mathematics. I just need a calculator because I know the numbers to punch in the calculator. I know the numbers to put in Google. People, when it's so funny, like when you're in this, it's the funniest thing. The majority of people in debt would laugh at somebody if they don't know how to do math, like by hand or in their hand. But the majority of people in debt will laugh at a person that needs to use a calculator. These same people laughing at you with 20-year-old student loans older than their children. They're laughing at somebody that can't do some math in their head. That doesn't even make any sense in any part of the world. Jason says is having high personal debt will severely limit your options. Severely. People in debt have no idea. Like when they walk in a bank, check this out. If this is you or if you're about to do it, this is for the people that are about to buy a house right now during a pandemic. Number one, we're in a pandemic. Don't ever do such things. Ever. But anyway, if you're gonna go buy a house during a pandemic with 20-year-old student loans, the bank is going to take they're going to take financial advantage of you right now. Because if you don't know that you should never buy a house in a pandemic, 20-year-old student loans, that tells you right there you have absolutely no money. How do I know that? You have 20-year-old student loans. That's how I know that. And you're coming to buy a house with money that you don't even have. They're going to financially rape you. And it's legal and nothing's wrong. When I say that, I'm not saying anything wrong like they're doing anything evil. You're the only one that don't believe in mathematics. The banks do. It's all about choices. Cosmic Wisdom says, I feel you, LJ. I feel you, LJ. It can frustrate. It can be frustrating, but their mindset isn't ready to take the gift. I've been there. Oh yeah. You know what? And I've learned to deal with that, Cosmic. I really have. And I just don't really offer my assistance unless asked, because I got to let them be. It's hard. It's hard to watch loved ones dig themselves deeper and deeper in the hole and have not a clue, and knowing that they have a loved one in front of them that can help them, because I'm doing it. I'm helping people. I've helped myself first. It starts with me. I have to do everything I'm saying to tell other. Nobody's going to believe me if I don't do it first. So if I didn't quit my job and I'm telling other people to quit their job, how many people you think are going to be listening? Hey, you need to quit your job. They'll be like, LJ, did you quit yours? No, but I want you to quit yours. They're going to be like, are you insane? So I have to do everything. I got to do it first, so people trust me. Mecca says that is true about hourly and salary. It sure is. It's definitely true. When I was in salary, I thought for some reason a salary worker was some kind of step above an hourly worker, which is the stupidest nonsense to ever think. Joseph says, nicer facts. I told my lead what I said too. And oh, you're talking to Nicer. Gotcha. Herbert Walker says, I was a slave for 30 years. And that's how you got to say it, Herbert. Just like that. Slave for 30 years. This is powerful. But you know, guys our age, Herbert, we can pass the knowledge. We can still help prevent others not to make the same mistake. Help them not. That's our mission right now. We're still young enough to turn it around, because when you think about it, Herbert, 30, I really wouldn't want to go back to 30. You're still young, right? When you're 30, you think you're an adult at 30, but 30 is when you should start thinking, right? 30 is your 20s. You're really trying to figure out a lot of stuff, but 30s is like, okay, you should have sort of a plan. You know what I'm saying? You should some kind of something that's bettering yourself than when you were in your 20s, right? But you're still young. Like when you're 30, you think 50's old, but 30's just young, right? 50 is not old. 55, 56, that's not old. 30 is young. Okay. What's up, arms dealer? Dave Sincere says there's a Major League Baseball player they're trying to throw under the bus. This week he told news that he's not with playing baseball and taking a huge pay cut while exponentially increasing his risk. Oh, wow. Oh, they're trying to throw him under the bus because see what I'm saying? He's telling people he don't want to risk his life. Just because there's a person that values his life more than money, they're trying to throw him under the bus. That doesn't, now, The people look at him because he's a big star. Millions of people are doing that. That's just people believe that because that person's a star, that star is somehow different from them. No, he's not. He's just a baseball player not in debt. Now, I know you believe because of pro players, they're making millions of dollars, they're not in debt. That has not their salary has nothing to do with nothing. So stop being impressed by their salaries. Debt is a mental mind state. Being a slave to debt is mental. It has nothing to do with your salary. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It's a mental state. Stop being distracted by things like that. Stop it. Dave Sincere says, he said, nah, F that. News channel's trying to paint him as a selfish individual. Ain't that crazy? Yes. It's selfish. And he should come on and say, you're right. It's my life. Of course I'm going to be selfish. It's my life. People outside of his life are calling him selfish. People that are slaves to debt have no idea what they're even saying. That makes absolutely no sense. Gabriel says, I feel bad for whoever was a slave in their lifetime. Yeah, me too. But they're choosing to be a slave, Gabriel. Okay, so it feel bad, but you can't feel bad if you can't feel bad for a person that's choosing it. That doesn't make sense. Feeling bad for somebody choosing to be in debt, that doesn't make sense, really. I know why you're feeling that, because you don't want to see anybody in debt, but they're choosing it. Nicer says, monthly payments have never been in my vocabulary. Typing those words now put a knot in my stomach. You know what's so funny? People in debt they don't even know they've been trained to monthly payments. Monthly payments are just part of life. They automatically say it. You want to buy something? Okay, how much is the monthly payment? It's automatic for people. If you're right now, if this is you, and monthly payments are part of life and always been part of life, that's because you're a slave. Only slaves have monthly payments and believe it's normal. Okay, that's also a mental state. Dave Sincere says that the baseball player was Cy Young winner Blake Snell. Okay, you guys are talking sports. The Scout, what's up, man? LJ, did you were Congress talking about that $10,000 off student loans? Now most likely backing off. You know what? You know what's so funny? Let me tell you the unwritten truth about that, Ken. First of all, number one, that will never happen in a million years. They're not doing that. They're not going to do that. They will never give their slaves that much money. 10,000. That would be $10,000 closer to their freedom. No, they would never get that. That's never going to happen. Number two, the real purpose of it for slaves to believe it. All you got to do is throw something out there, and people that are slaves to debt, they'll believe it. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to start spending money elsewhere. You know why? Because they think that $10,000 is going to happen. No, it's not. That's never going to happen. They're never going to do that. They just throw it out there. Hey, we just proposed this, and slaves will jump all over it like hotcakes. And then they'll believe $10,000 coming off. Student loan debt is going to be forgiven, and then they'll start taking out more student loans. That's what slaves do. That's how new slaves are made. Even stopping the calculation of interest on student loans. You think slaves are doing anything about that? They're just happy that it's not accumulating. That's all. For the 6 months, they're happy. Hey, we stopped the interest on it for 6 months. Okay, slaves are happy with that. You think they're going to rush out and pay off their loans? First of all, they can't. Millions of out of work, they can't pay them off. That's impossible. They have no jobs to pay. They can barely pay their mortgage or the rent. You think they're going to pay on student loans? No, those are in forbearance. Nothing's going to happen. It just sounds good. Dave Bourne says financing and loans are woven into the fabric of society. Most people see it as the norm because it is given out. They are given out because it is given out. They are given out free. Yeah, it's given out freely, but you got to remember, Dave, I'm not against that. People, the slaves that are in people that are in debt to people that are slaves to debt are the engine of the economy. They keep the economy going. As long as they stop, long as they not believe in mathematics, as long as they don't believe in mathematics, that is what keeps the engine going. So I'm not, understand this. You guys hear me talk about the system. I'm not against the system. When you get out of debt, you clearly see there's a hierarchy. You clearly see there's a second economy. It's clear. There's a certain way things are done. You can clearly see it. But when you're in debt, you can't see it. And I'm telling you, if you're in debt, what I'm telling you right now, you'll never be able to see it ever. Ever. I mean, like ever. It's impossible for you to see it ever. You will never see it. There's a clear hierarchy. Clear. Lauren says, like you said, debt is colorblind slave master. And what you're talking about is like the modern day slave codes to keep the slaves ignorant. Yes. You guys have no idea how many distractions are thrown into the mix. They just be throwing stuff out there. I mean, let me tell you guys something. I don't know who they are. Okay, I'm just saying they, but somebody's clearly in control. Let me tell you guys something. There's no doubt that somebody's clearly in control. They just be throwing stuff out there. The coronavirus, killer bees, 5G. I mean, they just be throwing stuff out there, and people just Republican, Democrats, this and that, and people just go for it like fish on bait. It makes absolutely no sense. Keeping people from focusing on themselves, and it's a masterpiece. When I talk about it, I'm not talking bad about it. I'm not talking bad about it. This is the way it must be. Omega Dress says, I'm an American, of course. I know debt slavery since my social security number and NAFTA. Yeah, you better believe that social security number. I see its purpose now. I see its purpose. I see its purpose now. Oh, that's why we have a social security number. Okay. Well, all right. I get it. That's why, let me give you guys a higher level of thinking. This is why it's so easy for me to point out the financial fakers. Okay. The people pretending to be rich, they don't know because they're in debt. People pretend to be rich. They're usually in debt. They cannot hide it. You know why? Because the social security number is tied to what they do. They can't change their social security number. You see all this? When's the last time you seen a scammer swap out his social security number? You will go to prison playing with that. Prison. People in debt don't really even understand why. Here's a tax evasion is a victimless crime, but you go to prison. You ain't hurting nobody, right? You're not hurting anybody. Did you kill somebody? No, but you go to prison. There's a reason for that. Get out of debt and you will see its purpose. That's why you can go to prison. Start messing with your social security number and doing some messed up stuff. You will go to prison. Why is that? It's just a piece of paper with some numbers on it. Why will you go to prison? Get out of debt and you can see. You will see. I'm just not going to be an American. I'm not sure what that means. Omega Dress as well. Because government thinks humans are predominantly stupid. Well, first you got to stop speaking of the government as some separate entity. The government is us. Your family members work there. My family members work there. Your neighbors' family members, some of their family members, I'm sure work for the government somewhere. When people talk about the government, they act like they're space aliens or something. Who works there? People from Pluto? Saturn. People from Saturn work for the government. No, the government is us. When you get out of debt, you'll clearly see that the government is us. The government's not fooling me. They're not tricking me. If you don't believe in mathematics, it'll seem like they're tricking you or doing something to you. They're not doing anything to you. People say, "Oh, the banks are big, bad, and evil." They're not doing anything to me. The banks are not doing anything to me. They're not tricking me. They're not doing anything. Yeah, dude, with the CashNet USA, that is the stupid. Ooh, that commercial's so stupid. Drive time and 20% because they cater. That look at the commercials. If the commercial has gimmicks in it, they're telling you about their clientele. I'm gonna say that one more time. All you got to do is watch the commercial. If the commercial has gimmicks in it, it tells you who they're catering to. If you're going to borrow money from CashNet USA, you're borrowing a guy from in a super cape that thinks he's Superman. What that got to do with money? Dave Sincere says, so for her to call me with excitement, I was taken back, and I was super appreciative that she trusted me. I told her I will teach her everything I know, but only if she wants to learn. Great, that is awesome. Breeding spawn for corporations and businesses right now. Now is the time. Now is the time to own your own business. Believe that. Now is the time. Now is the time to own your own business, a profitable business, though. You can't just right now. You just can't make up something and think it's going to stick. You better be doing your passion. That's the difference. I'm going to tell you something that most people cannot see. Okay. Find out what your passion is. People see passion. For a world of mistrust. Like when it comes to money, people don't trust anybody. Everything, the majority of people believe almost everything is a scam or somebody's ripping them off. You got to break through that. You got to break through that barrier. How do you break through it? By earning their trust, by being trustworthy. Once your customers trust you, you can name your price. You know why? Because whatever they pay you, they know they're going to get their money's worth without question. They can leave their money with you and walk away and know they're going to get the product that they've signed up for. When a person knows that, they will trust you. So as soon as you start coming out with money, trying to get money right away, and you haven't even earned their trust, you can forget it. And that doesn't happen overnight. Darkman says, and remember the last vehicle, I had a car note. It had a 10% interest rate. Looking back, it makes no sense to pay interest on a depreciating piece of metal. No sense at all. But now you know that. Darkman, you'll never do that again. What's up, Jaws 2003? NC Big says, what's going on with the new services? It's only one service. All right. And this one services, it basically starts from, it can help newcomers. It can help people in their process, and it can help people that are on the north side of zero. Because a lot of people have gotten that debt free and on the other side of zero, and they're like, oh crap, what do I do now? I help those people too. I help those people too, because when you start this process, let me tell you, like when I make a plan for a client, right? The ones that follow the plan, they have a lot of questions. And and that tells me I know they're following the plan, because you're going to have questions, because I know you can't ask these. There's not many people that you can ask these questions of. There's not many people you can answer. You can, once you start, you'll see, you'll like, man, I can't ask too many people these questions. And then but the people that I give the plan to and I don't hear from them, I know they're not doing the plan, because that's impossible for you to do something and not have questions. You have to have questions. So this plan covers all that on a monthly recurring fee though, right? No, and especially during this time, I said, okay, I got to readjust, get rid of these confusing plans, millions of people out of work, make it affordable to help people get out of this situation, to never, no matter what pandemic happens, get out of this situation, help them, prevent them from never getting in this situation again. So now it's just one process. You sign up, boom, and you get what you get is like when people email me questions, I'll email them back with detailed answers instead of just general answers, right? Because if they're a client, I'll know their situation. So when they ask me a question, I will cater the response to their situation because I will know what their situation is. So when people just generally, like, for example, when people generally email me and they say, hey, what if this and that? I can't really answer their question because I don't know their situation. Hey, should I pay this off? Well, I don't know if you have other debt. I don't know if you have 5 cars that you're paying on with a 10 plan cell phone. I don't know any of that. So giving them an exact answer back is impossible. So I stay away from that. So this service gives you direct access to me on email, and then you get one phone call each month because people like to talk to me on the phone, and so we can go over physically on the phone. Dave Sincere says, I was a slave for 30 years. That's when I started plotting my escape. What's up, Quentin Cameron? Thank you, sir. Josh 2003. Herbert Walker says, the baseball pitcher was right about not taking a pay cut. I don't know if did he have control of that? I don't know if he had control of that. Gabriel says, it's going to be a really bad one since the sheeple don't get their income. It's going to be a riot here in America. Yeah. Well, Gabriel, that's why they're opening back up, because you better believe if people are trapped at home and with no money, there would most definitely be a riot. So they're going to open it back up. I get it. Now, this is what I cannot see. Okay. Are they going to just let, now, if they let it, trust me, people in debt, if the people in control want to let coronavirus just fade into the yonder, they can do that. They can just let everybody go back to work and people in debt will be happy and corona will fade away like it never happened. Okay. Or they're letting people back to work. I'm just stating what I see as the obvious, okay? Because right now, the cities that have opened back up, people are just crowding into businesses like corona doesn't even exist. Nobody's doing social distancing, nothing. They're, and people are desperate, they're in debt, blah, 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 right? And then if they want powers to be, want to let it fade into the yonder, they can. Or they can come back and say, coronavirus is going to come back in a large second wave. That could happen. That could happen too, right? But also, at the same time, people going back to work think hours are going to go back to normal at their regular pay, their regular 40 hours a week. They really believe their life is going to go back to the way it was before. No, it's not. It's going to be less job, less hours, less pay. So, and plus right now, also, people are making more money on unemployment than having a job. Those people don't even want to go back to work. Most of those people are not improving their skills. You think those people that are getting that extra money that the amount of money they've never seen before, you think they're saving that money? No, they're spending it. The majority of them chose not to pay the taxes on it right now. They're like, no, I'll pay it later. No, you won't. You're in debt. Those people don't even realize they're digging themselves, even by accepting the unemployment money and saying you're going to pay the taxes later. They're accepting of themselves even being deeper in debt of slavery, and they don't even know it. Mecca says, they asked me to go back to work Monday. At first I said yeah, then I called them back and said no. The next day I turned my side hustle into an LLC. That's what I'm talking about, Mecca. See what I'm saying? Even knowing that you had the option to do that, that's what I'm saying. Now, how many people you think gonna turn that down? They're gonna be like, hell yeah, I'm ready to go back to work. I ain't got no money. If you don't have a skill right now, I'm telling you, if you don't have a skill right now, now is the time to learn your skill. The world has changed, and it's changed forever. Josh 2003 says the House just passed the second stimulus package, but the Senate and the president are saying the bill is wishful thinking and dead on arrival. That's what I heard too. I heard they did that and they got to pass this and that. I'm telling you guys that something has to happen. Something has to happen because if something doesn't get passed, the second stimulus round check, unemployment benefits extended, what are you guys thinking is going to happen? There's no jobs, unemployment. They're not saving any of that money. It's going to get cut off. Then all the food stamps are going to get cut down. All this extra food stamp, all that stuff's going to get cut down. What you think they're going to do? You think people are going to starve? No, they're going to steal. NC Big says, LJ, people think they're going to get $2,000 a month, even though the government has openly said they don't have plans to do that. I know they're just crossing their fingers, hoping, no different than the lottery. I think they throw things like that out there on purpose. They give people hope. I get it. I get how it works. I see. That's how it works. Not a big deal. Gabriel says, people are here in Miami are happy the city is going to open on Monday. And I'm just like, okay, yeah. I'm wondering what's going to happen. They got 2 ways to go. Let coronavirus fade away like it never happened. Now, if that happens, that's gonna literally blow me away. If coronavirus just fades away like it never happened, that alone is going to show me who is running stuff here. One of many says, is it good to leverage credit once you've paid off using top credit schemes like Black Card, American Express? If you're debt free, yeah, you can leverage credit. I mean, you can. I mean, when I say leverage credit, like I have a credit card, right? I use my credit card everywhere I buy stuff. I leverage it as far as security. I can shop anywhere. If a hacker gets in a store I shop, they're going to hack my credit card information and not my debit card information, right? It's a tool I use to rent cars, hotel rooms, stuff like that. That's how I leverage a credit card. I don't take the money and use the money from the credit card to invest in something. I don't do that. No. Herbert Walker says, where I live, the virus has hit us pretty hard. Because I am debt free, I will relocate this summer. Being debt free gives you the options. Yeah, they give you the options. Believe that. Herbert Walker says, I've never felt good being in debt. As Dave Ramsey says, the borrower is slave to the lender. Sure is. Randy says, drive today and sign your life away. Sign your life away and sign your life away and drive away today. Because you got to sign on the dotted line first, right? Dave Sincere says, they're trying to make everyone in sports and media take pay cuts, except for the owners. They want the players, the coaches, the staff, the stadium workers, and TV, all of NBC news anchors to have agree to take 20% pay cuts for 20. Yeah, they can do that. I mean, I don't know why. This is what's crazy. Okay, listen, it's their business. If you don't like it, you leave. I don't know why people take it personally. Say like I worked at a stadium and they said, hey, we want you to work the same hours, but at a 20% pay cut. I'll say, no, thank you. I quit. When you're not in debt, you don't care what the business decides to do. Like I put my foot in my mouth. I thought the NFL draft wasn't going to happen. Right. I said, oh man, coronavirus. And then they had it. But they just had no people there. And I was like, oh, okay. I was looking like it is. What business have I did? What business of mine what NFL decides to and not to do, right? It just didn't make any sense, right? I assumed they wouldn't have, this is my look on it. I assumed they wasn't going to have the draft because coronavirus is out. That means there was not going to be no crowds in the stadiums to watch football games. And the only people that were going to be playing on the football field were people that didn't care about their lives. So I assumed that no draft was going to happen. But I totally forgot that the majority of people are in debt. No matter who you are, sports player, regular worker, it doesn't matter. If you're in debt, you have to do what they say. Because in your mind, a person in debt, you either going to a 20% pay cut or nothing. Which one would you prefer, person in debt? The person in debt's going to prefer something. But a person not in debt, they would say, "Oh, I value my time more than that. No, I quit." You're not going to give me 20% less on something that I can't get more of. My life, the time in my life, I cannot get more of it. I cannot get more of it. But you're telling me you're going to pay me 20% less for it? No, I quit. And not only, check this out, not only a 20% pay cut, but risk it to die from a virus. I would look at my boss like, "Are you insane?" I quit. Dave Sincere says, since I've paid all my personal credit card debt off, the time that I spent worrying and planning on how to deal with that, I now have back in my life. I use that time to read, learn about, well, you do building tools. You do think about debt a lot when you're in debt, but you don't know you think about debt a lot. Thank you for reminding me that of that, Dave, because I totally forgot about that. I totally forgot about that. It's like a heavy weight lifted off your shoulders. I totally forgot about that. Weight's gone. Dave Sincere says the second stimulus is almost 4 times the size of the last 3 stimuli. Congress passed it and passed it. Da, da, da. Oh, yesterday. It's currently at 3 trillion. And you know, so crazy. This is what people in debt don't understand. When you're in debt and you hear $3 trillion, of course that sounds like a lot of money, because that's money that you will never see in your life. You'll never see $3 trillion, right? What people in debt don't realize, on the back end, they're going to get probably 10 times that in taxes, because the people in debt are not going to have the money to pay the taxes on it. That's why they need the money in the first place, because they're in debt. But they don't know that. They're slaves. Slaves don't need to know that type of information. They're probably going to make 10 million off of that 10 trillion off of that 3 trillion in taxes. Their goal is spread across time and generations. They have two factors in their equation: time and generations. Quentin Cameron says unemployment will expire July 31st. It's going to be interesting on what's going to happen. That's why I keep saying something has to happen. When that stops, what are they going to do? Hold on for a second. What are they going to do? That's why it's summertime. I'm thinking, what's going to, even letting people go back to work, it's not going to change anything. Nobody's going to make any money with social distancing. I know the city's making money ticketing people for not social distancing. They're stacking dough, man. People, they don't know what's going on in the background. Taxes, tickets. Hey, you're not social distancing. Nope, here's a ticket. And they got the legal right to ticket you too. And you think people in debt, they don't care. Whatever. They're not going to take my liberties and all this other stuff. Whatever. They're gonna make you pay for it, though. I know that. Gabriel says, I heard they might cut the lines of credit to people. Yeah, that's already happening. Dave Sincere says, even though this stimulus is crazy high, it mostly will benefit businesses. It will benefit people somewhat. They're going to get the same 1,200 and maybe a little more for the kids in the stimulus. Yeah, I saw that. Right now is the time to own a business. But at the same time, this can't, like, let me try to put this in words. At the same time, it can't be just a regular business. You know why? Because people are still not going to have the money to pay for crazy, stupid services. They're not going to have the money because they're barely going to get hours. You can't hire all employees back if you only can be at 50% capacity. Yeah, that's impossible. And if there's not people, check this out. If there's not people making money, there cannot be people spending money. The type of business you're going to make, it has to be special. It has to be like an Amazon type of special. A service that is really, really benefiting a person. It has to be. You guys have no idea. Through this type of time, scammers are through the freaking roof right now, scamming on fear. That scammers get people via fear. I want you to understand that. Scammers can't fool me. Scammers, whatever comes out of scammers' mouth will never make mathematical sense. That's how to tell it's a scam, because it will never make mathematical sense. Dave Sincere says they will give $1,200 to immigrants or who work in America who don't have social security numbers. I read that too. Dave says in Canada, their stimulus gives Canadians who qualify $2K a month. The latest stimulus proposal omitted out the $2K month Democrat. Oh, they omit, because I remember it was in there. It sure was in there. Yeah, that $2K a month. I think they threw it out there. I just think they throw stuff out there. There's like, oh, we can be like Canada. And so people in debt will believe, oh man, that's a possibility. We can be like Canada. And then they just take it away. It helps, believe it or not, it helps people in debt relax, because if you just get them to believe that that money is maybe a possibility, they will relax and start spending money the way they usually do. Especially if they knew that $2,000 was guaranteed, people would start spending money wildly, because they start spending the money before they actually get it. That's how people in debt do. That's what financing is. You spending money that you don't even get, nor do you have. The stimulus money and checks are no different. If they knew they were getting $2,000 a month, they would start spending it today. So they just make them, if you can get people to believe that it's a possibility, some of them will still spend without even knowing if it's coming true. Okay. Dave says they're throwing out all these crazy numbers in the trillions. Those numbers are unfathomable. And guess what? We will be the ones paying our Social Security, our kids, their Social Security, only for people in debt. Dave, that those numbers that build up and all this trillions of dollars, only people in debt will be paying that, not people that are debt free. We're not going to be paying that. Only slaves pay that. Slaves pay that debt. We don't pay that. The slaves pay that. Open up a business, create a successful business. And I'm not just saying create a successful. Now, remember, slaves are there by choice. So when I call them slaves to debt, they're there because they're choosing to be there. They're choosing not to believe in mathematics. Okay. So if you become debt free and you start to feel bad that your people that you love that are digging themselves deeper in debt and you can't do anything about it, you take a step back and you say to yourself, they're choosing to do that. That will help you. Okay. Charles 2003 says, I see many people on IG and Facebook are happy that gyms are opening back up so they can get in shape. I see a second wave forming from these places. I would be looking online for weight sets. Yep. Right now, like as the gyms open up, wait to see what's going to happen by the summertime. And you will know when gym equipment will be going on sale. Because if these, put it this way, if these new stimulus packages don't pass, and so the unemployment runs out in July, end of July, so they still got May, June. So they're not really thinking about it, because in their minds they still got 2.5 months, because it says that on the calendar, right? They believe time has something to do with their situation today, because they don't know that has nothing to that end date has nothing to do with what's happening today. They don't know that. Today, when it comes to your finances, today is the only day that will ever matter. The present moment, not today. The present moment will be the only moment that will ever matter in your financial life. Today, the present moment. The future, now listen to this close. I'm on the other side of zero, so I need you guys to listen closely. The future doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. If somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, how much do you need?" And listen to this closely. If somebody tries to sell you, because people and businesses sell you they sell you futures. Nobody can tell the future, but nobody can tell the future, but they're selling it to you. They're selling you the future that nobody can predict. Nobody knows that because only the present moment matters. Add up all your savings, add up all your debt. Savings minus debt equals how much money you have in real life. If you don't change that number from the negative to a positive, that number will be your future. And you're probably thinking, Linnell, how do you know that? I'll tell you. If you don't change that number today, guess what? Tomorrow it's going to be deeper. You go 2 days, you don't do anything about it. Guess what? The 2 days is going to be even deeper because of interest. Every day having debt, period, puts you deeper in debt. People in debt don't know that. Every single day, by just simply having debt, puts you deeper in debt because of interest. So if you want to know your future, all you got to do is add up your debt right now. That's your future. Tomorrow will be deeper. The next day will be even deeper. The next day after that will be even deeper than before. 7 days from today, your debt will be even deeper because of interest. Now you keep doing that same thing over and over and over again. I will tell you exactly what your financial life will be like 5 years from now, and 10 years from now, and 20 years from now by telling you today. That's why people sell you. They selling you something that don't even exist. Crazy, huh? This is what I can do for you. I will change your life forever, ever. How do I know this? Because I did it myself. I did it too. I did it first. So you guys know I'm not just talking. And then I show you. Gabriel says, even if a second wave doesn't come in the coronavirus, we're headed to an economic depression. Oh yeah, nothing's stopping that, Gabriel. That's a fact. I want you guys to listen to this. There is a guaranteed 100% without a doubt housing crash coming. That ball is rolling down the hill full steam and nothing can stop it. And you're probably thinking, Linnell, how do you know that? I'm gonna put it in the most simplest form I can tell you. Millions of people with no jobs to pay their mortgages go into foreclosure. They can't even stop the ball. They have no jobs. They have absolutely no jobs. Millions of people with no jobs to pay their mortgages. That is a 100% guaranteed housing market crash. Why do you think the rush is? Why do you think they're dropping interest rates to refinance your houses? Why do you think that? Because they know slaves will run straight to it. They'll run straight to it. They're going to lock you by refinancing your house. Guess what? They're locking you into your house value today, locking you in. And when it plummets in 2021, there's nothing you can do about it. You're going to still check this out. When 2021 comes and the housing market crash happens and your house loses value, you can't do anything about it. You're still stuck with the same amount owed to the bank at the price it's worth today. So imagine all the people buying houses right now thinking they're getting a deal. Oh, what idiots. Slaves. You buy a house right now, you're going to be locked into the value it is today. And then when next year comes around and you see it's worth a quarter of that price, you're gonna be so angry at yourself. But guess what? People that know, they're gonna clean house. They're gonna get 3 houses for the price of one. Mm, 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 mm. Nicer, he's right. Numbers don't lie. They sure don't. Righteous Media Group says my cousin said he'd rather save than pay off his student loan for 40,000 loan debt early. You know why he's saying that, Righteous? Because he believes he has money. That's mathematically. Check this out, Righteous Media Group. It's mathematically impossible to save money while you're in debt. You can't save negative dollars. And math is an exact science. So your cousin believes he can save money while he's in debt. That's mathematically impossible. This is why I keep telling you guys this. It's a mental state. People in debt believe they have a choice. They don't even have a choice. But if they believe they have a choice, they pay for that choice, but with interest. People in debt that believe they have a choice pay with interest. Mm, mm, mm. And Righteous Group, even if you told your cousin what I'm saying right now, he still won't believe you. He won't have a word. He won't have a word. He won't know a word I'm talking about. Won't even understand anything, even though I can mathematically prove it. Mecca says, my side work, CD handyman services, I've been able to survive off of the money from unemployment and sub pay. Union gives $400 a week. I've been saving and paying off debt. Congratulations, man. Putting yourself in a place to where this will never happen to you. You will never be in this financial position again, even during a pandemic. Dave Sincere says, my ex-girlfriend, who I haven't seen in over 10 years, have literally been calling me every single day. She's trying to learn and milk every bit of info out of me on how to build a business and make her pay, minimize taxes. This is what you tell her, Dave. This is how much it's going to cost. If she's serious, she'll pay for it. If she's not, she won't. Just throw something out there. Hey, first I'll start with let's start with your credit report to make sure. But by the way, I'm gonna charge you 20. It don't even have to be a large amount. Just say I'm gonna charge you $50 for that, to do that. If she's serious, she'll pay for it. Dave Sincere says it's the point I had to tell her I have to invoice you. Okay, no more free info. No more free info for sure. I'm not accepting any more calls from her. Yeah, I wouldn't. Charles 2003 says, LJ, so if a house costs 100,000 now, it will cost 25K after the housing market crash? A possibility. I don't know the exact amount. I'm just saying the reason why I say, well, let me finish reading this. I need to get my income up more. I want one more home in Florida and one overseas. Well, I'm not saying 25K for sure, a quarter of the price. I'm just the reason why I say a quarter of the price because again, listen to what I'm saying. Millions of Americans, millions of people in America are out of work. Millions. That's millions of people that have no job to pay their mortgage. If they can't pay their mortgage, that's guaranteed foreclosure. That's millions of foreclosed homes. That's why I say a housing market. It seems pretty obvious to me that there's a housing market crash about to happen. Oh, sorry, guys. A housing market crash that's about to happen. That seems obvious to me, right? There is no stopping it. It's going to happen, right? So if a housing market crash, so if you go out and finance a house today for $100,000, it damn near will be at least 50% or less by next year. Mecca says, I've been seeing houses for sale for 4K, 6K. What are you talking about, Mecca? 4,000, 6,000. Where are you seeing houses right now for 4,000, 6,000, $10,000? Right now is the time to sell your house, not to buy a house. I promise you. Right now is not the time to sell, not the time to buy a house, to sell a house. If you're trying to get top dollar or something close to it, right now is the time to sell. You guys probably seen for sale signs going up. You got to see them. You guys should start seeing a lot of for sale signs because those people know. They know. Oh, Detroit. Wow. It's crazy. Gabriel says, well, that's what's going to happen after July. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. Cosmic says, I see houses for 12,000 right. God dang. And Cosmic, it ain't even, I want you guys to listen in this room. It hasn't even started yet. It hasn't even, the housing market crash hasn't even happened yet. And the houses are going for that. This is why I'm saying a quarter of the price of what it is today. So when you're on social media and you hear a person online talk about they got a house, you better feel sorry for them. Don't be jealous. Don't be envious. You just got to say, damn, they don't even know. They don't know. That's why they bought it. People with money, they're just kicking back, waiting. They're just waiting. That I guarantee you, people that have money right now, that cash is burning a hole in their pocket, but they know to wait to 2021. If you want a nice car, 2021, if you want a nice car, if you want a nice house, if you want some designer this and that, if you got cash, you're going to get it all for a quarter of the price. Cosmic says Mecca is right. In some markets, I see houses that at those prices. Man, that's crazy. Darkman says ready to get those cars for cheap though. Yep. Dave says, this same ex called me Thursday and tried to get me to contribute $100 to something her sister and girlfriends told her about. It's called Friends and Family Month. Oh my God. I want you guys to understand that there's going to be a lot of things out there that's going to be trying to get you to give money to things, and people are getting desperate. So be very careful. People are very desperate, and you got to, if you're new to this channel, I want you to understand something, okay? Only people in debt believe money is scarce. The reason why they believe money is scarce is because they're in debt. Savings minus debt equals your money in real life. If that's a large negative number, money doesn't exist for you. That's why money seems scarce, because you're in debt. You're probably chasing money. If you believe these social media people talking about, hey, grind forever, never sleep, do all this other stuff, you know why the majority of them are doing that? Because they're running from debt. When you get out of debt, you don't want to grind 24 hours a day. You want to sleep. You will enjoy your sleep. You will love your 8 hours of sleep. I look forward to sleeping. I do. When it's bedtime, I look forward to it. I'm going to get a full night's sleep. You always do the opposite of the majority, especially when it comes to money. Cosmic says those be houses are bank owned houses. Banks are getting rid of houses on the books because for the next batch is coming. Oh, that's why they're getting rid of those houses because they're going to have a big old batch. They're preparing themselves. Yep. Dave Sincere says, basically, you get as many people as you can to join and contribute $100. Once they fill a table chart, the person in the middle of the table gets, oh, goodness. That sounds like that octagon schemey thing, Ponzi stuff. I'm just like, oh, my God. They just believe anything. That's people in debt. That's what people in debt do. They think they're going to spend $100 and get back $1,400. It's no different than gambling. When they go to the casino, people go to the casino because they want to hopefully quadruple their money for doing nothing. Dave Sincere says she just gave $100 last week. Ooh, poor girl. And it happened. And it happens that this week she already worked her way to the center. Oh, really? Wow. Okay. Sure. Dave Sincere says, I laugh my ass off. I'm not contributing to that Ponzi scheme. She got mad and tried to guilt trip me. They always do that. I'm waiting for 2021. Yep, me too. Dave Sincere says, the people who told her played off her emotions. She contributed $100 last week and she already got 200 back within 10 days. I just laugh because this is who scammers target, the ignorant and emotional. They sure do. They do. Now, if you're new to the channel and you want to ask me some questions, please don't be afraid to do so. You can even join the chat. You don't have to get on camera. Especially if you have questions. Maybe you just have questions about my theory of things, just how did I come up with this? 1 second. How can I help you? Maybe you don't know how to get a hold of me. SavingsMinusDebt.com. Let me put my banner across there. Here's my Cash App, just in case you like what I'm saying and want to do a donation. I appreciate it. It's always appreciated. Here's my website. You want me to help you out and create a plan for you to never be in this situation again? You know that fear, how you feel terrified and don't know what to do, and you feel like you're alone, even though you know millions are going through the same thing. I can help you separate yourself from those millions of people. I can help you separate yourself. And whatever I teach you, you will teach this generationally. You'll teach every person you love that is willing to listen. You'll teach them. I promise you. SR says, finally paid off the motorcycle I've been on. Congratulations, man. And I mean that seriously. Congratulations, especially on a finance motorcycle. Congratulations for paying that thing off. Gabriel says, so LJ, you think financial crises are always going to happen every decade? No, not like this one. This type of change only happens once every 50 years. And believe it or not, since I'm not in it, I can see it. This type of thing happens every 50 years because basically I look at it as like a reset to the economy. The economy got reset, just like how our tax system got an overhaul. Imagine this being a reset and an overhaul at the same time. Okay, so now think about it this way. Now businesses, they can catch up with Amazon and Uber. Businesses can keep up with them because now that they figured out how to get people to work from home, they can have people work from home, more hours, less pay, make them all 1099. Now they don't have to be responsible for their taxes and insurance and all that stupid nonsense. Same way Uber, everybody's a 1099 worker. People who deliver packages are usually 1099 workers, all responsible for themselves. Can you imagine how much money businesses are going to save when they don't even need a building anymore and don't hardly have to be responsible for employees? And now that millions of people are out of work, they will have their choice of having employees. They will always have somebody to replace somebody that quits or gets fired. They will have plenty of options for years, no matter your skill set. SR says down to $35,000 on student loans. Feels a lot better to be out of consumer debt for sure. My student loan debts was my last debt to pay off. That was my last debt. Okay. Herbert Walker says never take financial advice from a broke person. Nope. And you're probably thinking, well, how do I know they're broke? Ask to see their personal credit report. If their credit report looks like yours, you don't take financial advice from them. You're looking for financial advice, right? Listen, if you're looking for financial advice, you know how bad your credit report is, right? And so if anybody is trying to give you financial advice, you ask to see their personal credit report. not their credit score, their entire credit report. And then if their credit report looks like yours, you'll know better not to take financial advice from somebody that's doing the same thing you're doing. And then you'll naturally know not to take financial advice from a person with 20-year-old student loans. You wouldn't do that. Imagine somebody trying to give you financial advice and they got a whole bunch of stuff in collections. Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense. You don't take financial advice from somebody that has something in collections. That doesn't make sense. Welcome, SR. SR says, been slaying that debt. Slay it, man. You need to go check out my new service, man. Because when you come out of debt, you're going to have a lot of questions. You probably have a lot of questions now. SavingsMinusDebt.com services. Sign up for the service. You get direct access to me because, like I said, when I have clients, I know their situation. So when they ask me situations about their financial situation, I can answer them. I can answer each and every one of you mathematically to your situation. You'll know you'll get the right answer you need for your situation. Cosmic Wisdom says, Winston Churchill said, never let a good crisis go to waste. During a recession, during recessions, I take advantage and come out stronger on the other side. We all can do tweaks to come out stronger. We can. You can't say that out in the open. I mean, people in debt will get mad at you if you come out and say, "Man, I'm going to come up during this pandemic." They will get upset. You got to be quiet. You can't say things like that out loud. Cynthia Kevin, I hope I said that right. Linnell, debt is real. My ex-girlfriend, my current girlfriend, and my little sister all asked me either to borrow $1,000 to $2,000 or to move in with me until things get better. See what I'm saying? It's real. And you know what's so funny? When and Kevin, I'm gonna say your last name because I don't want to mess up the first name. When I got out of debt, when I was getting ready to get out of debt, I asked to move in with my sister, but I had a plan before I moved in with her, right? I told her, I said, hey, I'll move in there. I'll pay half of all the bills because there was no place I would get better than paying half the bill, half the mortgage and everything at my sister's house. And I said, I'll pay half of everything. I save all that money. And I told her, I said, I'm moving here so I can get out of debt. It's because even though they're family, you got to ask me, hey, what is your plan? I don't mind helping you out, but what's your plan? Are you planning to live with me forever? Are you planning to get out of debt? What's your plan? Because if once you let them move in and they don't have a plan, good luck with that. That's gonna mess up your relationship for sure. Because there is no way I could live with somebody in debt. No way. Charles 2003 says, LJ, I know you say it's good to have one credit card. What do you think about secured credit cards? My credit is shot right now, but I am thinking about Chapter 7 to erase everything but student loans. Secure credit cards are no. So let me explain to you what secured credit cards mean. Okay. First of all, only people in debt have secured credit cards. Okay, only people in debt. This is what you're doing. This is what and you don't see that, but so I'm gonna show it to you. Say, like, for those of you who don't know what a secure credit card is, secure credit card is supposed to help you with your credit. So what you do, the reason why it's called secured, say like it's a $500 secure credit card. You give them $500, they hold it. They give you a piece of plastic, and then you can spend the money, and then you make payments back, and then they report to the credit bureau that you've been making payments back on time, and it's supposed to help build your credit. All right. So this is what you don't see. Okay. You're taking $500 that you already have in your hand. Okay. You already earned it. You already went out, earned it, did whatever you did to earn $500. And then you take this money and hand it to the bank free of charge. You say, here, man, Take this $500. The bank takes your $500. They loan about 90% of that $500 out at whatever interest rate they choose. But at the same time, they also charge you interest on your own $500. They charge you interest on your own $500. This is no investment at all, not one penny of the bank's money, right? So you hand them $500, they hand you back a piece of plastic. So they're loaning your money out, making interest, making money, and they're charging you interest at the same time. Hand you a piece of plastic, and you're walking around charging, doing whatever you do, and you're making your payments, and all for the privilege of for the bank to report to the three credit bureaus, which the three credit bureaus are private agencies, by the way, owned by whoever. So they can report to the credit bureaus that this person paid us. Now listen to what I'm saying. So this person paid us back his or her own money on time. They have no idea. People in debt have no idea. That is you talk about free money. That is free money. Absolutely free. All for the privilege of them reporting to the credit bureau that this person paid us back his own money on time. Boy, I tell you. Kevin says, I asked their plan and they said they don't know. I said, no, they got all mad and didn't know why. I know they don't. You can't even tell them. You can't walk up to a family member and say, you know why you're not moving in? Because you're in debt. They're going to look at you like, well, everybody's in debt. No, I'm not. That's why I'm telling you this. You're in debt and I'm not. SR says there are ways to increase your income without another job as long as you are willing to go without certain comforts. Exactly, SR. You're exactly right. And so crazy. You don't even nowadays, SR. You don't even really have to change your comforts. You don't even people with iPhones. They don't know they can be on Verizon for a quarter of the price. They can be on any carrier they wish for a quarter of the price they're paying today. That's what I give to my clients. I show them ways to become financially free and get the exact same services that they're getting today for a quarter of the price. I'd be blowing clients' minds away. Oh my God, how much you pay how much is your monthly bill? Oh man, I got 3 phones. I'm paying $250 a month. What if I can have you pay those 3 same phones, but paying $90 a month? Would you like that and get the exact same service? What, are you serious? Yes. The majority of people don't know that. Now, if you have any questions of me, okay, you got about a maximum of 45 minutes to ask your question. You can jump online. You can jump on the call if you wish. You can do what you want right now. You can ask questions of me. Even maybe you don't even disagree. Maybe you disagree with me. As long as you state your opinion or question respectfully. Hey man, this is all a learning process. Even if you say, "Oh man, that's wrong," you can say it. I mean, but you're gonna have to prove it though. You can't just say, "Hey LJ, you're wrong," and just not say why or prove why. You got to prove it, all right? And you got to prove it mathematically. You have to. Okay. Now, for those of you that are this is a little bit off the subject. So what I've done, those of you know that Denzel Napoleon Rodriguez invited me to come to his channel and do a discussion on velocity banking or his process or something, but I'm going to be on his channel. And that date has been set for, let me see, for the 29th of May at 12 p.m. Now I'll send out notice. I'm not expecting you guys to remember this, but that has been set for May 29th at 12 p.m. in the afternoon. Now, if you guys don't know who he is, you can check out his channel, Denzel Napoleon Rodriguez. Okay. And what I will do is let me give you his link. Okay. Let me give you his link. 1 second here. And again, I'll be announcing it again because it's only the 16th right now. There we go. And let me put his link in there. Now he says there's his channel right there. Now he says, because we had, if you guys haven't catched it, we had a collaboration. If you look through the videos, there's a collaboration with his name in it. Just look for his name in the title. And so this is like round 2, I guess. And I'm not sure, but he said his clients wanna bring me on his show so they can ask me questions, or I'm not sure why or whatever. But I think it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I really don't turn down any of those because that's this kind of stuff is fun to me, right? So be looking for that. Like I said, May 29th, 12 p.m. All right. And there I put his link to his channel in there. And if you want to go check him out early before that event, so you can kind of get an idea of what he teaches, his style, what he does for his clients or whatever, right? You can jump on over there. He'll teach you about velocity banking, infinite banking. These are the things I've read on his channel. This stuff, how to get out of debt using that stuff, right? So if you want to go and check his channel out, you can go right ahead, check it out. So you can kind of get an idea what's going to be discussed. Okay. Cosmic says, I'm sure you'll get a lot of followers from virtual banking, especially since I know a lot of banks have been closing lines of credit left and right. I know that, Cosmic, and you know that. But those people that are using lines of credit, they're just crossing their fingers, hoping that it doesn't get them, right? People in debt will just cross their fingers and hope it doesn't hit them. Kevin says, my current girlfriend got mad, but wanted to talk about paying half. She saw your channel a few months ago and says she's trying really hard to get out of debt. I'm the only one in the family without debt. You know, and I see people, that's my bro. I see people trying, but they don't really understand that they need a plan. You know, I wish they would just come to me. You know, they can, especially I lowered my prices for everybody because I know the time that we're in and people are struggling. So I created a different plan that can help you. And I can help you the same way I help everybody else. But this is you know, you got to put some skin in the game. I can't just give it to you for free, you know? So, and you know, try to talk to her again. Go check out my channel. Go look at my price. It's only one price. It's only one service. No multiple services to confuse anybody. Go check it out. Sign up. We can get started, and I'll give you a plan. You know, she doesn't. And when I see people try to get out of debt on their own, and they just don't know how to do it, they're wasting time. And I can just give them the path and say, hey, here, you take this left and a right, and then that's how you get out of it. What's up, bro? How you doing? Oh yeah, Denzel's back. He's back. He came in. I think he came in on. Yeah, he came in on a Cosmic show yesterday. But we were talking about that behind the scenes. So we're going to do that on, like I said, I don't know if you heard it, bro, but May 29th, 12 p.m. I'm going to send out the information so you guys can catch it. And I want you guys to follow along that. And I want you guys, and if you're new to the channel, I want you to listen to something. When people invite me on other channels and to try to, you know, whatever. I don't know. I really don't even know to describe it. But I want you guys to understand something. I'm never, ever going to be wrong. I will always be mathematically correct. And I will make the people agree with me. Because at the end of everything that might happen, I want you guys to prepare yourself right now. At the end of everything they might say or do or whatever, at the end of my statement, I'm always going to say this, but is my math right? Okay, remember that when you guys hear me say it, but is my math right? They will always have to say yes. Because if they don't, you will see them. It will expose them. Okay. Dave Sincere says, I think many people do want to get out of debt. They just lack the guidance and the basic tools and the mindset. Yeah, because you got to remember, Dave, if you've been in debt, first you got to recognize that you're in debt. That's the hardest part. Just like I said earlier, you have to look in the mirror and say to yourself, I fucked up. Especially the older you get, that's going to be a hard pill to swallow, especially if you've been working all your life, 20 years at a job and this and that. And then you wake up and say, damn, man, I've been messing up. That's a hard pill to swallow. But the earlier you do it, the better it is, because a lot of people don't realize, and I keep repeating this, right now is your get out of debt free card right now, right now, right now. If you add up your total debt, now listen to me closely. If you add up your total debt and you can't pay that off in 10 years, now add up your total debt, divide it by 10 years. And if you can't pay that debt off in 10 years, file Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Chapter 7 bankruptcy. And what the reason why I say 10 years, because bankruptcy stays on your credit report for 10 years. Now, the reason why I say divide it up by 10 years, because if you're a person out there with $20,000 worth of student loan debt and you just simply don't want to pay it, you divide $20,000 up by 10 years, and you say you can't pay it off. It's like you say to yourself, I can't pay it off. You're telling yourself that you're not going to make $20,000 in 10 years of your life. That's a different kind of problem. That's a whole different problem. If you got $20,000 of student loan debt and you don't think you'll pay it off in 10 years, that's a different type of mindset. Okay. There's not a loan in the world that will help you if you don't believe you can pay off $20,000 of student loan debt in 10 years. All right. Patrick Young says, what I've realized is that most people think it's normal to have debt and they're chasing a high credit score. That's it. But bro, that's the system. That's how it works. Slaves are the engine of the debt. They're the engine of the debt matrix. They drive they're the engine. We just the people with wealth, they just throw credit scores in the pool, and they're the oil of the engine. They just pour the oil is belief in a credit score. Even though they're broke, they have no idea that they have no money, but they're still going for that credit score. You got people right now talking about, oh man, I just throw this question out there. Would you have rather have 800 credit score and $200,000 in debt, or $100,000 cash and a 400 credit score? Do you know most of the people will take the $800 credit score? That's how people in debt think. It's mind blowing. It's absolutely mind blowing. Okay, we're going on 2 hours, 28 minutes. All right, we're going to go about 30 more minutes. If that, if we don't have any more questions, we're going to cut it off early. But if you guys got any more questions of me, how to contact me, don't forget a shout out to don't forget the super chat. If you enjoyed the stream, don't forget the my Cash App donations. There's my email if you want to get in contact with me. Okay. You want to follow me on Facebook? There's my Facebook URL, facebook.com/savings-debt. If you want to share the channel, there's Google. Just tell them to Google #savings-debt. I will be the only person that comes up in that Google search. Don't believe me? Try it. Go and Google #savings-debt. You only see me. Don't forget to hit that like button. This is how you find me on YouTube, Savings-Debt. Let me see here. Dave says, I was talking to a friend of mine. They were going on about their student loan debt and how much they owe. And they asked me how much my monthly payments are. I laughed. I said, I paid mine off. That is funny. See how they naturally assume that you have student loan debt too? That's what that's what slaves to debt think. Whoever's slave to debt, they believe other people have debt. And check this out. If you and all of your circle of friends have student loan debt, you're in debt. You know how they say circle together, flock together, or something like that? That's true. People who have student loan debt and car payments, they believe that's normal. They all hang around each other because that's what they believe. They're oh man, I'm not gonna answer that phone. It's probably a bill collector. Oh, me either, girl. I don't do that either. Yeah, because you're in debt. Only people in debt have bill collectors call them. People that have money and don't have debt, we don't have bill collectors calling us because we owe nobody no money. Mecca says that four money stage y'all did yesterday was beautiful. Yeah, that's shout out to Cosmic Wisdom for that. She put that together. It was simple and very educational. I never seen anything like it. Nothing like it. If you're new to my channel and you never said a word, let me tell you something. I do things that have never been done before. I do things that you will never see on the internet. You're probably thinking, what is that, Linnell? Show my entire credit report. Have you ever seen that before? Have you ever seen anybody show you their entire credit report? Ever? Have you ever seen anybody log into their Credit Karma live on YouTube to show the world? Nobody. I've done it. Go find it. Go find somebody else that did that. Good luck. You can ask any one of your friends, hey man, can I see? Just go up to your friend and say, hey, can I take a look at your whole entire credit report? They're gonna look at you like you're nuts. If somebody asks me it, I'll say, sure, yeah, you want to see it? I don't care. Yeah, whatever. Here, where's your computer at? I'll log in on your computer. Let me just tell you what. Let me log in on my phone so you can just see it. Okay. I don't want to give you and put my password in your thing, but let me just log on my phone. I would do it like right now live so you can see it. Okay, here, boom, there you go. Even that, you know, what's so funny. Even showing that, because I used to do that a lot. Show my personal credit report. I got to stop doing it. I got bored with that. It's like that don't even do nothing. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was encouraging others that knew to get their credit report to zeros, but that's why I stopped doing it. It really doesn't. People are like, oh, what is that? People in debt don't know a credit report can look like that. Darkman says, LJ, you all about the get out of jail free card, but I always realize that doesn't apply to student loans. I honestly don't know how long it's going to take to pay off take mine off. What I'm saying like this, Darkman, if you have student loans along with other consumer debt, Chapter 7 will wipe out all your consumer debt so you can fully concentrate on your student loans. If every other debt was wiped out off the plate, all you had to do was concentrate on student loans. Then do you realize how fast you could pay off student loans if all your other debt was wiped out? People in debt don't know that. Oh man, why file Chapter 7? It doesn't get rid of student loans because it gets rid of all the other debt so you can fully pay off the student loans faster. Patrick Young says, I asked a friend, would he rather have an excellent credit score? Oh, yeah, that's what it was, bro. Have an excellent credit score with debt to his neck or a $500 or a 500 credit score with zero debt. He picked the high credit score without hesitation. The majority of people would do that. They are the engine of the debt matrix, people. Stop being shocked. Somebody designed this system, you guys. Somebody designed it, and it works well. Somebody designed a system that is hidden in plain sight. Now, what kind of mastermind did that? You make it so easy that people in debt won't even believe it. Go up to a person with a brand new iPhone in their hand and ask them, hey, did you pay cash for that? They're going to tell you no. They're going to tell you no. And they won't even have they won't even have a clue of what they just told you. You can't turn to them and say, then why do you have how do you have it in your hand if you didn't have the money to pay for it? You can't say that to them. They won't have a clue of what you're saying. Wait a minute. You didn't have the cash to buy that iPhone? That new iPhone in your hand? They're going to say, nope. Whoever designed that, whoever designed a system that made people believe they own a house, made people believe they're a homeowner while paying a mortgage for 30 freaking years of their life. That is absolutely hands down brilliant. Kevin says, Linnell, I just asked my sister that question last week. Would you rather have an 800 credit score and 800 credit score and 1 million in debt? Oh, okay. And 1 million debt, or 575 and $175,000 in cash. She picked the 800 and said she'd get a loan. Oh my God. Did you see that, bro? Bro, did you see that? You get you get on this side of zero, people, you will live in this world. Where slaves will say that right to your face and not have a clue of what they're saying. Not a clue. Oh, he's talking to Patrick. Credit score overrated. I've had 830 plus FICO for 5 years, have never applied for credit during that time. The number is useless to me. Totally useless. I only look at it. I look at it's like my credit score is like 740, 745. I only have one credit card. I don't care what the credit score is. So what? Gabriel says the 4 money stage I think is better than Dave Ramsey plan. Nicer says LJ, nope, just showing receipts, showing you receipts. Josh 2003 says LJ, what is up with people getting student loans forgiven for undue hardship? I see stories like this from time to time in financial websites. Don't worry about that. When you hear that, this is what I want you to Google. Google the percentage of people that get that. And then that'll tell you your answer. When you hear that, you'd be like, oh my God, because you got to remember, people in student loan debt wish that to happen to them. But then at the same time, you stop, go Google the percentage of people that get that due to undue hardship. See how many percentage, and then that'll tell you why they say that. They just throw stuff out there, give people hope. Cosmic Wisdom says, thanks, guys. I was nervous that the content for the 4 money stages wouldn't resonate. LJ knows I was having second thoughts, but happy I stuck to the original plan. Me too. It's always nervous the first time. And Cosmic, I really appreciate you guys. You guys shout outs. It's like the founder and stuff like that. It's like, wow, that's just amazing to hear. So I appreciate you guys all. Dave Sincere says most people screwed up back when they were in college. Many took out way more money than needed. This is why it's taking forever to pay. I'm grateful I always borrowed the minimum of what I needed. Because just think, when you're 18, you think that's free money. They get you while you're young. And you got to remember, when they're at that age, when they go to college, they already have been programmed. One second, I got to pour some water. They've already been programmed to believe that having student loans is just part of life. They've already been programmed to believe that, and it's not true. So they're already in a negative as we speak. So we got 20 more minutes left. If you have some questions, think about that for a second while I take a bathroom break. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Okay, we got about 20 minutes. So if you got any questions, please throw your questions in there now. Gabriel says they do get you once you're young. That's why they give you credit cards when you got like when you're pay attention to this, Gabriel. I want you to pay close attention to the age range of commercials. Okay. The majority of commercials are aimed at your general, like from age 18. No, they start earlier than that. Okay. I'm just saying as an adult, 18 to about maybe late 30s. Okay. Maybe late 30s. And then the commercials will change for you, right? The commercials you'll be paying attention to, because you won't be paying attention to commercials really below that age range, right? But when you're that age, you don't really understand that those commercials are aimed towards you. I gotta turn this thing back on. I don't know what the heck is going on here. You guys might hear a pop, but boy, these gnats get bad here in South Carolina in the summertime. I don't know where these bad boys come from either. But anyway, they're aimed towards you. And the crazy part about it is when you're young, I said this before, when you're young, you don't realize you're young because you're too busy looking at older people than you as old and not realizing that you're just young. It's just crazy. Cosmo says, yeah, I thought about that. I thought about what CJ said yesterday about a guy that approached him with a mortgage with $200,000 in student loan debt, but he makes $5,100 a month before taxes. I know, it's crazy. I talked to someone that had 200, almost 200, and was it 250? About $250,000 in student loan debt, and this person was like a secretary somewhere. Now, when I hear numbers like that, I think of a person that believed that that money was free, was continuing to go to school, keep pulling out more and more money, taking the extra money and spending it. I mean, they got videos on YouTube of how to take student loan money and invest it somewhere else. It's just the craziest, stupidest nonsense ever. But people in debt, they just do it. People in debt don't really realize or comprehend, why don't they keep track of where you spend that money? They don't even realize that you can take that student loan money and buy some tires, invest it in something and whatever, right? And they don't care. People in debt don't realize, why do you think they don't care? Because you're going to be paying it back for the rest of your life. That's why. You think if you could file bankruptcy on student loan debt, do you think they would let you spend the student loan debt all free willy and nilly the way you do today? No, that would not happen. Like, for example, say like you put money on an HSA card, health savings account, right? And that's before taxes. So you can pay. What the purpose of a HSA is to pay for out-of-pocket medical expenses with tax-free dollars, right? But people in debt don't know that, right? But you can't take that HSA card and buy some bread or some milk with it. You know why? Because you haven't paid taxes on that money. It's got restrictions on it. The restrictions are on it because you haven't paid tax on that money. They're not just going to let you spend it on what you wish. They're saying, hey, we'll give you a tax break if you spend it on this, period. Out-of-pocket medical expenses, period. But when it's money that you cannot bankrupt. You cannot bankrupt. So that's why they just let you, because if you could bankrupt it, they would put restrictions on, okay, we're going to give you they would do credit card, they would do student loan money like they do a food stamp card, right? A debit card or the food stamp card, right? They refill the card and you could spend it on food. They could literally do that with student loan money. They could put it on a card and say, you can only spend this on school related things, like if you for a university, books for your class or whatever. They can do that. But they don't, because they will own you for the rest of your life. When you get out of debt, this is obvious. Cosmo says the math will never add up for that guy. Never. Hyphy says the 830 FICO score is just as valuable as a 530 credit score. FICO. If I never use it, oh yeah, okay, gotcha. It's as useful as the bird cage sitting in your mom's attic. Dave Sincere says parts of their lives, their auto insurance rates, the low interest rates they qualify for, their scores are getting major hits. So if they're unemployed, once job market picks up, they will. It must be continued. Have a derogatory mark against them when applying, interviewing for a job because the credit's taking a hit. You know, so crazy. And I'm glad you brought that up, Dave. I remember when I first found out jobs look at your credit, right? Some jobs require to look at your credit score, okay? Or your credit, not even credit score. They're just saying, hey, at this job, we want to look at your credit. Now, at first, when I was in debt, I looked at it two ways. I wasn't really worried about it because I had a good credit score, right? But at the same time, I was thinking, what does my credit score have to do with my job? Right? It just didn't. I have to, do I get a more pay? I mean, because I couldn't figure out why they were looking at that, right? The real reason why they're looking at it is because so they can see how much debt you're in. If you're deep in debt, they're not going to put you in a position in the company to where you could possibly be compromised due to your debt, because people do weird things when they're in debt. Morals go out the window. I promise you. Like if a person at a retail job risks stealing $40 out of a till, right? Knowing that stealing is embezzlement, and then they'll have a criminal record and never be able to get, you know how hard it is to get you a job if you have a criminal record as embezzlement? Nobody's going to want to hire you if they know you're going to steal from them. But they're going to risk, but they don't think about that risk as they're stealing the $40. You know why? Because they're in debt. They don't know if that $40 is going to change the rest of their life. They're not thinking about that. They're not thinking about it because they're in debt. If the majority of people in debt if they actually knew money didn't exist for them, they would look at money totally different. They'd be like, oh my God, I'm not going to risk the time of my life for money that doesn't even exist. Let me give you another example. Drug dealers, right? Drug dealers. It doesn't matter if you're a drug dealer. If you're a drug dealer, you're probably still in debt. Now, I know working people find that hard to believe, but I'm trying to tell you something. It doesn't matter where the money comes from. If you're in debt, you're in debt. But drug dealers are risking their time. They're risking the time in their life for money that doesn't even exist. Doesn't even exist. If you're listening to this and you're selling illegal drugs, guess what? And you're in debt and you don't even know how much debt you're in, you're risking your life for paper that doesn't even exist. If you got $20,000 cash, I know people find this hard to believe, but trust me, there are drug dealers with student loan debt. Okay. So I'm talking to you. If you're a drug dealer, right? And you have $20,000 cash in your house right now due to these illegal drugs, and you got $100,000 in student loan debt, guess what? That's not that money, that the $20,000 that you just risked the time in your life for, something that you can never get more of, ever, ever, ever. Nobody could ever give it to you, ever. That $20,000 that you see is not there. It's negative $80,000. The $20,000 doesn't even exist, and you risk the time in your life for it. You risk the time in your life for something that doesn't even exist. Don't believe me? Do the math. Thank you, Nicer. Dave Sincere says, LJ, that's right. If you have a lot of debt, you're subject to being blackmailed, taken advantage of. Also, if you can't handle your personal finances, they don't have faith in you to handle theirs. Exactly. They're not going to do that. in debt have no idea why they ask to look at their credit report, and they think it's just one time. People in debt have no idea how many times when you sign up for that job and agree for them to have access to your credit report, that's multiple times, probably every 3 to 6 months. If you're doing good, and all of a sudden your credit score, and then you're all of a sudden they look at the year mark of your credit report, and you just got over in your head in debt, they're going to move you. And if you're in a sensitive position around money, or you're getting moved. Mecca says this is true. Morals go out the window when in debt. In the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, he said something like that. Prices go up because people are in debt. That's why it's so funny to watch how things work right now. It's like puppet strings. It's like, okay, during a pandemic, we're going to lower the interest rates on house refinances, so people that have lost their jobs will refinance their house, and then they'll use that money to survive while they're in this pandemic, which in turns gives us that they're going to be giving that money right back to us. It's like a fine played violin. I know people think drug dealers are in debt. Yes, they're in debt because it's a mindset. I know that sounds crazy. Oh man, drug dealers make all this money and they don't even pay taxes. I know, right? And they still not paying their debts. So if this is you, it's a mindset. You better stop risking the time in your life for something that doesn't even exist. Dave Sincere says every job I applied for pulled my background history and credit report, every single one. Yes. Your credit report, check this out. Your credit report will tell an employer the reason why you want to work at their establishment. Because if you're not in debt, they know you're working there. You're applying to work there because you want to work there, not because you have to work there. So if you work there because you want to work there, that means you're going to like the job and you're going to do a good job. Now, they pull a person that's deep in debt at a credit report, right? And you're deep in debt. They know they're already right there, and they know you working there because you have to work there. Now they got to determine if you're going to steal or not. If the probability of you are going to steal because you're in debt. That's how it works. People in debt can't see that. Cosmic Wisdom says, yeah, I get my credit pulled every 4 months for my job, and I'm not in the finance government contractor area. I work in innovative IT. See what I'm saying? Your credit report says a lot about you. I know people in debt don't really understand why that is, but they're checking to see how much debt you're in. That's what they're doing. And when you're deep in debt, you can be easily compromised. That's a hard pill to swallow. Nicer says getting to debt free can be one of the greatest accomplishments of your life because it's so rare. It is awakening is my greatest accomplishment. Okay, but second to that is debt free. I couldn't awaken myself had I not become debt free. Oh, excuse me. LJ, that's right. They pull often. Plus, the people don't know. Companies take out life insurance policies on all their employees. They have all your info when you fill out the application. And you know what's so funny about that, Dave? They take out the life insurance policies, right, on all their employees, and then they make their employees pay for it. So if you're at a company for 20 years, right, and you're paying a life insurance policy through your employer, once you leave, do you know you don't get to take that life insurance policy with you? You don't even get to take it with you. You're throwing your money away on a life insurance policy that only resides with the company. Once you leave, that life insurance policy is null and void. So all that money you put in there is gone. You think I knew that? I did not know that. I didn't even know that. Kevin says, I remember in an earlier video, you said if what I say starts to sound repetitive to you and it resonated, if it starts to sound repetitive to you and it resonated for some reason, the info and the math never changes. It's the mind that does. Exactly. You're exactly right, Kevin. If it starts to sound repetitive, you're like, wait a minute, he just keeps saying the same thing over and over again, but just in different ways. Yeah, because it's just mathematics. Math will never change. Math is timeless. Time doesn't affect mathematics. 1 plus 1 will equal 2 here, and 100 years from now, and 500 years from now. 1 plus 1 will always equal 2. 1 plus 1 equals 2 in any language, in any country. Math breaks all barriers. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what language you speak. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter if you're Democratic, Republican, the black, white, Chinese. It doesn't matter. 1 plus 1 still equals 2. Once you understand that concept, you will be rich. You will be wealthy. Don't mix rich and wealthy together. Rich means you have a lot of money. Wealthy means you own the time in your life. You own it. How many people you know own all the time in their life? You know one right now talking on the mic to you. I own every single minute. And I work hard to keep it that way. Because there is no going back. Once you know what it's like to own every single minute of your life, there is no going back. There is no going back. You can't unlearn it. You can't unfeel it. There's no going back. All right, we got about 3 minutes and we're going to cut this off here. Dave says people don't realize FICO scores are for business. Equifax, TransUnion, and thousands of other consumer. Yeah, and people don't know all those 3 credit bureaus. They're all privately owned businesses. Don't even know it. Josh 2003 says LJ makes sense given my finances and what was happening on my job. On my old job, I just took the next job that was offered. Even they were surprised I took the job with my education. Debt is a hell of a thing. Sure is. Dave says FICO scores are a numerical indication of how you handle debt. Prior to 2003, 2004, or so FICO scores were only available to businesses. Oh, wow. Okay. They were called beacon scores. Wow. Learn something new every day. Mecca says, I just seen a store that sanitary worker went on strike for better PPE and hazard pay. The company went and hired prisoners so that should tell the sanitary workers that they are also slaves. Yes, they're slaves. People don't, and when I sign off, I'm going to sign this off so you guys can understand this. Businesses with millions of people out of work, businesses have their choice of, they will always have employees because millions of people will take the job. And it almost damn near doesn't matter your skill set. They can pick anybody for damn near any pay. For the next 5 to 6 years, employers are going to have the advantage for sure. Herbert Walker says, LJ, the hard part is when your friends and family remain in the debt matrix. It's very hard, but you got to do this, Herbert. They're choosing to be there. That helps you. Understanding that your friends and family members are choosing to be there, that more helps you not feel so bad for them. Okay? That should help you. They're choosing to be there. They're choosing not to believe in mathematics. That's what they're choosing to be. Dave Sincere says there's a church building in Garden Grove, California called the Glass Cathedral. At the time it was built, it was considered an architectural wonder. The guy who envisioned and paid for it name is Robert Schuller. He was a mega church preacher who used the money from his congregation life insurance policies he took out on them without their knowledge. God damn. Wow. Freaking amazing. There has been a 600% spike on a cruise on spike on cruise line books. I know, crazy. Thank you, Nicer. We're going to finish this up. We're going to wrap this up. It's been 3 hours. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Come with your questions. Tomorrow's Q&A Sundays, okay? Come with your questions. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget, SavingsMinusDebt.com if you need my services. Here is if you're enjoying the show, here is my Cash App for donations. Appreciate. Don't forget a super chat. Appreciate you. Any questions? SavingsMinusDebt@gmail.com. You can follow me on Facebook, SavingsMinusDebt. Thank you, everyone. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening.